Hello and welcome to the Velvet Past. Today, we will sleep in and discuss hours of mysterious disappearances from history. Did the sun-drenched mesas of the American Southwest truly witness the silent exodus of an entire, thriving civilization? Their intricate cliffside cities abandoned to the whispering winds, or did something far older, far more enigmatic, compel them to vanish into the vast, indifferent silence of the desert? Our journey now takes us to the ancient, rust-red landscapes of what is today the Four Corners region, where the towering sandstone cliffs of Mesa Verde, Canyon de Chelly, and Chaco canyons still hold the haunting echoes of a vanished people. Here, the ancestors of today's Pueblones, a sophisticated and deeply spiritual civilization, built homes into the very heart of the rock, crafting dwellings of unparalleled beauty and resilience. Our story begins around the 10th century, a period of remarkable flourishing for these ancient Pueblones, often referred to as the Anasazi, a Navajo term meaning ancient enemy or ancient ones. Though modern Pueblones prefer ancestral Pueblones, they were master architects and engineers, utilizing the natural alcoves and overhangs of the cliffs to construct elaborate multi-story villages. Intricate kivas, ceremonial chambers, and complex networks of roads and water management systems. Their vibrant culture expressed itself in pottery, intricate weaving, and rock art, all reflecting a profound connection to the land and the cosmos. Life, though challenging, was organized, communal, and deeply spiritual. Imagine the daily rhythm. Within a bustling cliff dwelling like Cliff Palace or Spruce Tree House, the murmur of voices echoing off the stone, the scent of wood smoke from hearths, the rhythmic grinding of corn, the laughter of children playing on ledges, all nestled securely within the towering embrace of the mesa. They practiced sophisticated dryland farming on the mesa tops, growing corn, beans, and squash, and harvesting rainwater. They were a people deeply rooted in their environment, their lives intimately tied to the cycles of the seasons and the whims of the infrequent rains. Then, around the late 13th century, a profound silence began to descend upon these vibrant communities. It wasn't a sudden, cataclysmic event, not a single invasion or a devastating fire. It was a gradual, yet complete, cessation. The pottery shards remained in the hearths, the tools lay where they were last used, the dwellings stood intact but empty. The voices ceased, the smoke no longer rose from the chimneys, the children's laughter was replaced by the sigh of the wind. Entire villages, meticulously crafted and painstakingly maintained for centuries, were simply deserted. The people there, numbers likely in the thousands across the region, simply vanished from these established, thriving centers. The unsettling climax of the Anasazi disappearance lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of their silent exodus. What compelled an entire civilization to abandon their secure, defensible, and spiritually significant cliff homes, leaving behind all that they had built? Multiple theories, each tinged with a chilling sense of profound loss, attempt to explain this great vanishing. One leading theory points to a period of prolonged drought. The late 13th century saw a significant decline in rainfall, a great drought that may have lasted for decades. For a people utterly reliant on rain-fed agriculture, this would have been devastating. Crops would have withered, water sources dried up, and the very sustenance of their lives would have vanished. Desperation would have crept in, forcing them to seek water and arable land elsewhere. But why abandon such defensible, resource homes entirely, rather than just seeking temporary refuge? Another theory suggests internal strife or social unrest. As resources dwindled due to drought, tensions might have flared between communities or within them. Warfare, raids for food and water, and a breakdown of social cohesion could have made life in the concentrated cliff dwellings unsustainable, forcing people to disperse into smaller, more mobile groups. The discovery of some signs of violence in a few sites hints at this possibility, but it doesn't explain the universal abandonment across such a vast region. A more spiritual, almost mythical explanation posits a religious or spiritual calling. Perhaps the elders and shamans, reading signs in the stars or in the parched earth, decreed that it was time to move on, to seek a new spiritual center, a new promised land. For a people so deeply connected to their beliefs, such a collective decision, however radical, is not outside the realm of possibility. They would have packed what they could carry, their seeds, their tools, their sacred objects, and walked away, leaving their magnificent homes as silent, monumental prayers to the land they left behind. The truth is likely a complex interplay of these factors, a devastating drought pushing them to the brink, exacerbating existing social tensions, and ultimately prompting a profound, perhaps divinely inspired, decision to migrate. They didn't simply vanish from the face of the earth. They dispersed, their descendants eventually forming the vibrant Pueblo communities of today, adapting to new environments and evolving their cultural practices. But the manner of their departure from the great cliff dwellings remains an enigma, a slow, methodical abandonment that speaks of a profound and perhaps agonizing decision. As the sun sets over the red rock canyons, casting long, mournful shadows across the empty windows and silent kivas of the cliff dwellings, we are left with the haunting echo of their absence. Their silent exodus is a stark reminder that even the most resilient civilizations can be compelled to leave everything behind, their existence shaped by forces both seen and unseen. In the long forgotten nights of the dark ages of the Americas, did the whispers of parched winds truly carry the desperate cries of a people abandoning their sacred homes, their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when an entire civilization could simply melt into the vast, indifferent silence of the desert? The meticulous ruins offer no definitive answers, leaving behind only the profound silence of empty homes and the whisper of vanished lives, forever carved into the very stone. Chapter 2: The Vanished Colony of Croatan. A pioneering fragment of a nascent empire truly find refuge among the native tribes, their English identity slowly dissolving into the rhythms of an ancient wilderness, or were they consumed by the wild, leaving behind only tantalizing whispers and a single cryptic word etched into a weathered post? Our journey now takes us to the low-lying, mist-shrouded shores of what would become the Outer Banks of North Carolina, a treacherous coastline of shifting sands and dense, ancient forests. Here, in the late 16th century, a haunting enigma unfolded that continues to tantalize historians and resonate with a profound sense of loss. The inexplicable disappearance of the Lost Colony of Roanoke, leaving behind one of America's oldest, most enduring mysteries. Our story begins in 1587, when a new group of English colonists, comprised of 117 men, women, and children, set sail from Plymouth, England, bound for the shores of the New World. Led by Governor John White, an artist and explorer, their mission was to establish the first permanent English settlement in North America, a new seed of empire across the vast, rolling Atlantic. Among them were White's own daughter, Eleanor Dare, and her infant daughter, Virginia Dare, who would become the first English child born in the Americas. They landed on Roanoke Island, a small, sandy outpost off the coast of present-day North Carolina, a place of abundant natural beauty, but also unpredictable native tribes and the unforgiving whims of the sea. Imagine the atmosphere in the fledgling colony, the constant creaking of newly built wooden structures in the salt-laden wind, the rustle of unseen wildlife in the surrounding woods, the flickering light of campfires against the darkening wilderness. The colonists, far from home, would have faced immense challenges, adapting to a new environment, cultivating unfamiliar crops, and navigating complex, often volatile, relationships with the indigenous peoples. Supplies were scarce, and the reality of their isolation quickly set in. Governor White, after a mere 3 months, made the agonizing decision to sail back to England for vital provisions, promising to return swiftly, leaving his daughter and granddaughter behind. But fate, a cruel master, intervened. White's return was delayed, not by weeks, but by agonizing years. England found itself embroiled in a desperate war with Spain, culminating in the formidable threat of the Spanish Armada in 1588. Every available ship, every able-bodied sailor, was pressed into service for the defense of the realm. White's desperate pleas to return to his colony went unheeded. 3 agonizing years passed, during which the colonists on Roanoke were left utterly to their own devices, cut off from all contact with their homeland. When John White finally managed to return to Roanoke in August 1590, guided by the familiar landmarks of the coastline, a profound, eerie silence greeted him. His heart, undoubtedly filled with both hope and dread, must have sunk with each step onto the deserted island. There were no signs of human life, no welcoming fires, no distant shouts of recognition. The settlement was utterly deserted. The houses had been dismantled, carefully, as if removed rather than destroyed. The palisade, the defensive fence surrounding the former settlement, stood intact, but within, an unsettling emptiness prevailed. The only clue, chillingly deliberate, was found carved into a wooden post of the palisade, the single word, Croatoan. On a nearby tree, the letters Crow were etched. There was no sign of a struggle, no scattered bodies, no indication of violence. It was as if the entire colony, 117 souls, had simply melted into the earth, absorbed by the vast ancient wilderness, leaving behind only this cryptic, silent message. The unsettling climax of the Lost Colony of Roanoke lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of its fate. The Croatoan carving has been the subject of endless speculation, each theory a whisper into the void. Was it a message indicating the colonists had indeed moved to Croatoan Island, modern-day Hatteras Island, home to the friendly Croatan Native American tribe with whom they had established good relations? If so, why did White, despite searching the island, never definitively find them, or any signs of their complete assimilation? Did they, as many historians now believe, gradually integrate into the local tribes, their English identity dissolving over time into the rhythms of the indigenous people, their language and customs blending, perhaps imperceptibly? Or did they meet a more violent end? Were they massacred by hostile tribes, perhaps driven by suspicion or the pressures of dwindling resources? Was it disease, starvation, or the brutal elements of the Outer Banks that finally claimed them, their final moments unrecorded, their bodies dispersed by nature's relentless cycle? The true reason remains buried beneath centuries of untamed wilderness and the silent, impenetrable veil of the past, a story written in absence. And so, as the whisper of that single carved word, Croatoan, fades into the silence, we are left with the haunting echo of the lost colony. Their disappearance is a stark reminder that the ambitions of empires can be humbled by the enigmatic vastness of a new world, by forces that absorb and erase human presence without a trace. In the long, forgotten nights, did the spirits of the vanished colonists truly mingle with the ancient whispers of the wilderness? Their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when an entire people could simply vanish. Their last hope etched into the very trees of a new world. The profound absence speaks volumes, a haunting testament to a pioneering dream swallowed by the unknown. Chapter 3. The fate of the Roman Ninth Legion revisited for disappearances. Did the very earth itself swallow 1,000 hardened souls, erasing their footsteps from history, or did something far older, far more enigmatic, claim the finest fighting force of an empire, leaving behind only a chilling, profound silence? The Roman Empire, a colossal testament to human will and engineering, spread its might across continents, its legions an unstoppable tide of discipline and conquest. Yet, within its meticulous annals, a chilling shadow falls across one particular tale, the inexplicable, absolute disappearance of the Ninth Legion, Hispania. This wasn't merely a defeat. It was an erasure, a vanished echo in the vast, documented tapestry of Roman might. A haunting absence that has tormented historians for centuries. Our journey into the Dark Ages and the heart of this enigma begins not with a fall, but with an abrupt, terrifying silence. The year is approximately 117 AD. The Roman Empire, under Emperor Hadrian, stretches to its furthest, often precarious, reaches, in the untamed northern reaches of Britannia, a wild land of mist-shrouded moors, ancient forests, and fierce, painted tribes, the Picts. The Ninth Legion, Hispania, was stationed. These were no green recruits, but veterans, forged in countless battles, their eagles having flown triumphant across Gaul, Spain, and beyond. They were Rome's hardened fist, a force of some 5,000 legionaries, auxiliaries, and support staff. Their last known strongholds were in Eboracum, modern-day York, and later, possibly Carlisle, guarding the shifting frontier against the wild tribes to the north. Yet, from this point, their meticulous records, their very presence in the vast machinery of Rome, simply ceased. It was an abrupt, chilling silence, a tear in the otherwise seamless fabric of Roman documentation. Imagine the atmosphere in the isolated Roman outposts along what would soon become Hadrian's Wall, the northernmost frontier of the known world. The wind howled relentlessly, carrying with it the eerie whispers of the unforgiving landscape, the scent of damp earth and unknown wildness. Days turned into weeks, then months, without word from the Ninth. No dispatches, no supply requisitions, no reports of skirmishes, no triumphant announcements of victories. Other legions, accustomed to the rigid efficiency of Roman communications and the constant flow of information, would have felt a growing unease, a cold dread seeping into their hardened resolve. Did they send scouts into the desolate wilds? Did they find scattered bodies, burnt standards, broken weapons, or simply an unnerving emptiness, a profound void where a legion once stood? The historical record, for once, is unnervingly silent on the details of their demise, offering no official account of a catastrophic battle. No list of casualties, no formal disbandment. Theories have bloomed like dark fungi in the absence of truth, each more unsettling than the last, each striving to fill the chilling void left by the missing legion. Did they march north into the swirling mists of Caledonia, the land of the fierce and elusive Picts, and fall into a meticulously planned ambush? Were they lured into a trap, overwhelmed by a force so cunning and overwhelming that they were annihilated? To the last man, in a battle so devastating and complete that no survivor, no messenger, escaped to tell the tale to Rome. Such a total annihilation would have been an unprecedented blow, a humiliation that Rome might have deliberately expunged from its official records, a silent act of imperial shame. Or were they overcome by a force of nature so savage it defied human resistance, a blizzard so immense and sudden it buried entire cohorts beneath drifts of snow and ice, turning them into frozen monuments of Roman hubris? A flash flood, a seismic event, or a landslip that swallowed them whole, leaving no trace. The wild lands of Britannia were unforgiving, capable of consuming armies without leaving a hint. Or did something far more insidious, something beyond the ken of man, claim them? Legends, fueled by the mystery, speak of ancient primal forces, lurking in the untamed wilds, of creatures that prowled the misty glens, or of a curse laid upon the land by forgotten gods, hungry for sacrifice. The very land itself, perhaps, rebelled against the Roman intrusion, erasing their footprint with a supernatural hand. The unsettling climax of this enigma lies in its profound lack of closure, its terrifying finality. No mass grave has ever been definitively identified as the final resting place of the entire Ninth Legion. No complete set of their eagle standards, the sacred soul of a legion, has been found. They simply vanished from the face of the earth, from the historical record, from the memory of the living. The Emperor Hadrian, rather than attempting a large-scale recovery or a punitive expedition to avenge such an immense loss, chose instead a different path. He reinforced the frontier and constructed the colossal Hadrian's Wall, a physical barrier, a symbol of containment against a threat that had seemingly swallowed an entire legion whole. Was it a strategic shift, an admission of a defeat so absolute that even Rome dared not speak its name, tacitly acknowledging a frontier too costly, too mysterious to hold? Or was the wall itself a monument, built in silent despair, marking the very point beyond which the known world melted into the profound unknown, where legions simply ceased to exist? And so, as the phantom whispers of the vanished ninth fade into the silence, we are left with the haunting echo of their terrifying absence. Their disappearance is a stark reminder that even the mightiest empires can be humbled by the enigmatic whispers of the wild, by forces that refuse to be chronicled, or understood by an oblivion so complete it leaves no trace. In the long, forgotten nights of the Dark Ages, when the mist rolled in and the wind carried unseen voices, did the remaining Roman soldiers, huddled around their campfires along the wall, truly wonder if their comrades had merely succumbed to a human enemy, or if they had, in fact, stepped through a veil into an unsolved enigma, swallowed whole by the very land they sought to conquer, their fate forever an unspoken warning? The enduring silence speaks volumes, a chilling lullaby from a time when the earth itself held secrets too profound for human understanding, forever claiming its own. Chapter 4. The Mysterious. End of the Mary Celeste's crew. Did a phantom hand truly guide the sails? Or did the very ocean, in its vast, indifferent embrace, swallow the souls of an entire crew, leaving behind a perfectly intact ship, a haunting ghost of sail, adrift and utterly devoid of a living soul? In the vast, unpredictable expanse of the Atlantic Ocean, a maritime enigma unfolded that continues to chill the hearts of mariners and mystify all who hear its tale. This was the Mary Celeste, a brigantine found derelict in December 1872. Perfectly seaworthy, her cargo untouched, her lifeboats missing, but utterly devoid of her captain, his wife, their young daughter, and her entire experienced crew. It was a sea mystery so profound, so lacking in violent explanation, that it seemed lifted directly from the pages of a ghost story, a terrifying ballet of absence. Our story begins on November 7th, 1872, from the bustling docks of New York City. The Mary Celeste, a sturdy American-registered brigantine, laden with a cargo of 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol, set sail for Genoa, Italy. Aboard was Captain Benjamin Briggs, a respected and experienced mariner, his wife Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and a seasoned crew of 7. The ship was well maintained, the captain highly regarded, the cargo valuable and insured. By all accounts, it was a routine transatlantic voyage, a familiar journey across the vast, rolling expanse of the Atlantic, one of thousands undertaken each year. Imagine the routine on board. The rhythmic creaking of timber as the ship cut through the swells, the slap of waves against the hull, the cries of gulls wheeling overhead, the shared meals in the galley, the quiet discipline of watchers. Life at sea, though challenging, was predictable. Then, on December 4th, 1872, less than a month after her departure, a British brigantine, the Dei Gratia, sighted the Mary Celeste drifting erratically about 400 miles east of the Azores. Captain Morehouse of the Dei Gratia, a good friend of Captain Briggs, immediately recognized the ship. A profound sense of unease, a cold dread, must have settled over him. Something was deeply, unnervingly wrong. Her sails were partly set, but disarrayed, some torn. Her foresail was hanging loosely. There was no one visible on deck. No flag was flying, a stark signal of distress or profound abandonment. The chilling atmosphere of discovery must have been palpable as the boarding party from the Dei Gratia, led by First Mate Oliver Devoe, carefully stepped onto the deck of the Mary Celeste. A profound, unnatural silence greeted them. The ship's wheel was unsecured, swinging freely. Below deck, the scene was even more perplexing. The galley contained food half prepared on the stove, as if the cook had simply walked away. Children's clothes lay strewn in the captain's cabin. Personal effects, including money, jewelry, and valuables, were untouched in their chests. The ship's logbook was meticulously up to date, its last entry dated November 25th, placing the ship near the Azores just 10 days prior. The sextant and chronometer, vital navigational instruments, were missing from their cases, along with one of the ship's 2 lifeboats, which appeared to have been carefully lowered from its davits. Crucially, there were no signs of a struggle, no blood, no violence, no forced entry. It was as if everyone Captain Briggs, his family, and his entire crew had simply vanished into thin air, leaving their lives suspended in time, a tableau of ordinary existence, abruptly, inexplicably abandoned. The unsettling climax of the Mary Celeste mystery lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of its cause. What could have compelled an experienced captain, renowned for his prudence and seamanship, to abandon a perfectly sound ship with his wife, young daughter, and crew, taking only a single lifeboat and a few navigational instruments? Every theory struggles to explain the complete absence of bodies and the lack of any definitive evidence of disaster. Was it a sudden, terrifying squall that forced them into the lifeboat, only for them to be immediately lost at sea? If so, why no struggle, no distress signals, no sign of the lifeboat itself or bodies? The ship weathered the storm perfectly well after their departure. Was it a burst of volatile fumes from the alcohol cargo, causing panic and a hasty abandonment, in fear of an explosion, only for the fumes to dissipate afterward? This theory, while plausible, doesn't fully explain why the captain wouldn't return to his ship once the perceived danger had passed, or why no trace of the lifeboat or its occupants was ever found. Or did something far more sinister occur? Mutiny, piracy, an encounter with a hostile ship, though there was no evidence of forced entry, theft, or violence. The cargo was intact. The enigma of the Mary Celeste remains, a silent, ghostly ship, sailing through the annals of history, forever holding its terrible secret. No bodies, no definitive answers, just the chilling image of a perfectly maintained vessel adrift, a maritime riddle whispered on the winds of the Atlantic, a profound void where life once thrived. And so, as the phantom creak of the Mary Celeste's timbers fades into the silence, and the image of her empty decks lingers in the mind, we are left with the haunting echo of its vanished crew. Their disappearance is a stark reminder that the vastness of the ocean holds secrets beyond human comprehension, that life can be extinguished in a moment, leaving only the profound absence behind. In the long-forgotten nights, did the spectral figures of Captain Briggs and his crew truly drift on unseen currents, their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the sea itself could swallow souls without a trace, leaving behind only the chilling emptiness of a ship still sailing? The profound silence of their absence speaks volumes, a haunting testament to the unforgiving mystery of the deep. Chapter 5. The Lost Army of Cambyses in the Egyptian sands did a colossal conquering force, a mighty river of human ambition, truly, vanish into the unforgiving embrace of the desert, swallowed whole by vast, shifting sands? Or does its very disappearance conceal a deeper, untold story of a pharaoh's hubris, a land's ancient wrath, and a chilling enigma swallowed by the very dust of oblivion? Our journey now takes us to the blazing, endless expanse of the western desert of Egypt, a realm where the sun is a merciless eye in the sky, and the relentless wind sculpts dunes into ever-shifting monuments to time. Here, over to millennia ago, an entire Persian army, numbering tens of thousands, marched into this vast, silent void, never to be seen again. This was the haunting enigma of the lost army of Cambyses, a colossal military force seemingly swallowed by the very land it sought to conquer. Our story begins in 525 BCE, Cambyses II, the ambitious and sometimes tyrannical king of Persia, had just achieved a monumental conquest. He had successfully invaded and subjugated Egypt, adding the ancient land of the pharaohs to his burgeoning Achaemenid empire. His power seemed limitless, his ambition insatiable. Legend has it that his next target was the sacred and immensely powerful oracle of Ammon at Siwa Oasis, deep in the remote reaches of the western desert. This oracle was a beacon of spiritual authority and its defiance of Persian rule, or perhaps Cambyses' own disdain for Egyptian deities spurred his wrath. Whether motivated by conquest, a desire to quell religious dissent, or simply to consolidate his vast power, Cambyses dispatched a massive army from Thebes' modern-day Luxor to destroy the oracle. Imagine the scene. A colossal army, a vast river of humanity stretching across the arid, featureless landscape. According to the Greek historian Herodotus, a relatively reliable source, writing a century later, This force numbered 50,000 soldiers, thousands of Persian warriors, their bronze armor glinting under the scorching sun, their camels laden with supplies, water, and provisions, their disciplined footsteps raising immense clouds of dust that hung in the still air. They would have marched for days, perhaps weeks, across the treacherous, seemingly infinite expanse of sand and rock, relying on native desert guides and the promise of scattered oases for survival. The silence of the desert would have been profound, broken only by the rhythmic tramp of countless feet, the creak of camel saddles, the low murmurs of command, and the strained, thirsty breathing of men and beasts. According to Herodotus's chilling account, the army marched for 7 days, successfully, reaching the oasis of El-Karga, a known waypoint in the desert. From there, they set out on the final, more perilous leg of their journey towards Siwa, but they never reached their destination. Somewhere between El-Karga and Siwa, in the vast unmarked expanse, a terrifying natural phenomenon descended upon them. Herodotus writes, with an almost poetic dread, that as they were in the midst of their journey, a great sandstorm arose from the south, violent and deadly, which entirely covered them with its heaps of sand. They were buried alive, every single man, horse, and beast of burden, swallowed by the desert itself, consumed by an elemental fury so immense it left no trace. The unsettling climax of the lost army of Cambyses lies in the persistent, tormenting lack of definitive archaeological evidence. Despite extensive searches by modern archaeologists, adventurous explorers, and dedicated treasure hunters, equipped with satellite imagery, ground-penetrating radar, and meticulous historical research, no large-scale military encampment, no mass grave, no scattered remains of 50,000 soldiers have ever been definitively found in the presumed path of Cambyses' ill-fated expedition. The sheer scale of the disappearance, the meticulous historical record of Herodotus, who, despite his occasional embellishments, often sought out local accounts, and the utter, profound lack of physical proof, create a profound, haunting enigma. What truly happened to this vast force? Was Herodotus's account an exaggeration? A cautionary tale woven from local Egyptian legends designed to explain the failure of a foreign conqueror against a sacred oracle? Perhaps it was a deliberate propaganda piece, masking a more mundane, yet equally devastating military defeat or mass desertion in the face of impossible conditions. Did the army simply desert, their resolve broken by the unimaginable harshness of the desert, their numbers slowly dwindling as men scattered in desperate search of water and survival? Or did the sandstorm indeed descend, so vast and powerful, so sudden and overwhelming, that it consumed every trace, burying an entire army so deeply beneath the shifting dunes that their resting place remains lost to the relentless, ceaseless movement of the desert, a monumental, silent testament to the desert's unforgiving power? The very absence of evidence, in this case, becomes the most chilling testament, the most profound clue, and so, as the phantom whispers of the lost army of Cambyses fade into the silence, and the vast, indifferent desert wind sighs over unseen graves, we are left with the haunting echo of their vanished presence. Their disappearance is a stark reminder that even the mightiest armies and the most absolute ambitions can be humbled by the enigmatic, overwhelming forces of nature, swallowed by the very land they sought to traverse, leaving behind only the profound absence of their existence. In the long, forgotten nights, did the desert winds truly carry the desperate cries of those buried alive, their final breaths choked by sand, their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the sands themselves held secrets too profound for human understanding, forever claiming their tribute. The profound, absolute silence of the vast, empty desert speaks volumes, a testament to imperial hubris and a chilling enigma of oblivion. Chapter 6: The Vanished Colony of Norse Greenland. What silent, relentless forces compelled the thriving Norse settlements of Greenland to simply wither and vanish, leaving behind only the crumbling ruins of their farms and churches, as if the land itself rejected their presence? Our journey now takes us to the vast, cold, and often desolate expanse of Greenland, the world's largest island, a land dominated by an immense ice cap and fringed by narrow, habitable fjords. Here, in the late 10th century, a tenacious society of Norse settlers, driven by Viking spirit and the lure of new lands, established a foothold in a harsh Arctic environment, only to slowly, inexplicably, disappear over centuries, leaving behind a profound historical riddle. Our story begins around 985 CE, when Eric the Red, exiled from Iceland, sailed westward and discovered a vast, ice-bound land which he optimistically named Greenland to attract settlers. Over the next few centuries, two main Norse settlements, the Eastern Settlement and the Western Settlement, flourished along the southwestern coast. At their peak, these communities housed several thousand people, building farms, churches, and even a cathedral. They lived by farming, raising livestock, hunting seals and caribou, and trading walrus ivory and polar bear skins with Europe. This was a tenacious, resilient society, a testament to human adaptability in an unforgiving climate. Imagine the daily rhythm in a Norse Greenlandic farm: the lowing of cattle, the bleating of sheep, the chill wind whistling through sod roofs, the distant roar of calving glaciers, and the constant vigilance against the encroaching ice. Their lives were intimately connected to the land, the sea, and the unpredictable cycles of the Arctic. They survived for nearly 500 years, an impressive feat of sustained colonization in such a marginal environment. Then, beginning in the late 14th century and accelerating into the 15th, a profound silence began to descend. Contact with Norway and Iceland, once regular, became sporadic, then ceased entirely. Ships that eventually attempted to reach the settlements found them deserted. The farms lay silent, their roofs collapsed. The churches stood empty, their altars bare. By the mid-15th century, all contact had ceased, and the settlements were completely abandoned. It wasn't a sudden, violent massacre. There is no evidence of widespread conquest. It was a slow, agonizing decline, a gradual, terrifying vanishing into the cold embrace of the Arctic. The unsettling climax of the Norse Greenlandic disappearance lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of its cause. What silent, relentless forces compelled these hardy settlers to simply wither and vanish from the historical record? Multiple theories, often intertwined, attempt to explain this profound enigma, each hinting at a slow, drawn-out tragedy. 1. Leading theory points to climate change. The Norse arrived during a period known as the medieval warm period, which allowed for relatively mild conditions. However, starting in the 14th century, the Little Ice Age began to set in. Temperatures dropped significantly, growing seasons shortened, sea ice expanded, making sailing to and from Greenland more perilous and restricting access to vital hunting grounds. Their agricultural practices, suitable for a warmer climate, became unsustainable in the colder conditions. Another major factor was likely environmental degradation. Over centuries, The Norse may have overexploited the delicate Greenlandic ecosystem, particularly through deforestation for fuel and building materials, and overgrazing by their livestock. This would have led to soil erosion and reduced agricultural productivity, exacerbating the challenges posed by climate change. Conflict with the Inuit people, who were more adapted to the Arctic environment and likely arrived in Greenland after the Norse, is also considered a contributing factor. While evidence for large-scale warfare is limited, sporadic skirmishes and competition for dwindling resources could have added pressure to the Norse communities. Finally, the loss of critical trade and social connections with Europe played a crucial role. As conditions worsened, trade became less profitable and more dangerous, leading to fewer ships from Norway. The Norse settlers became increasingly isolated, cut off from vital supplies, new technologies, and social support from their homeland. This slow, agonizing decline, rather than a single dramatic event, likely led to their gradual starvation, disease, or a desperate, unrecorded migration. The crumbling ruins of their farms and churches, scattered across the vast, empty landscape, stand as silent, mournful monuments to a lost endeavor. They are a poignant reminder of humanity's fragility when faced with overwhelming environmental shifts and the unforgiving isolation of a distant frontier. And so, as the phantom whispers of the Norse Greenlandic settlers fade into the cold silence, we are left with the haunting echo of their vanished presence. Their disappearance is a stark reminder that even the most tenacious human societies can simply melt away, their secrets swallowed by the relentless march of climate and the vast, indifferent wilderness. In the long-forgotten nights of the Dark Ages, did the spirits of those lost settlers truly linger in the icy winds of the fjords? Their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when an entire colony could simply wither and vanish, leaving only the profound emptiness of abandoned homes and the whisper of forgotten struggles. The cold, vast silence of Greenland speaks volumes, a testament to human resilience and a chilling enigma of ecological collapse. Chapter 7. The unexplained disappearance of Amelia Earhart. Did a pioneering aviator and her steadfast navigator truly vanish into the vast, indifferent expanse of the Pacific, swallowed by its boundless depths, leaving only the chilling void of unanswered questions? Or does their enigmatic fate conceal a deeper mystery, a haunting whisper of a mission gone tragically wrong, forever lost to the horizon? Our journey now takes us to the shimmering, endless blue of the central Pacific Ocean, to a time when aviation was still a daring frontier, and the sky held both boundless promise and terrifying unknowns. Here, on a fateful summer day in 1937, one of history's most iconic figures, Amelia Earhart, and her navigator, Fred Noonan, disappeared without a trace, etching their names into the annals of unsolved mysteries. Our story begins on May 21st, 1937. From Lae, New Guinea, Amelia Earhart, already a celebrated American aviator, the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic, embarked on her most ambitious and dangerous journey, an attempt to circumnavigate the globe at its widest point, roughly along the equator. Her co-pilot and navigator was Fred Noonan, a highly experienced and respected figure in aviation. Their aircraft was a twin-engine Lockheed Electra 10E, modified for long-distance flight, equipped with extra fuel tanks, but lacking some of the advanced navigational and communication equipment that would become standard. Imagine the courage and determination required for such an endeavor. Countless hours of flying over featureless ocean, relying on celestial navigation, radio signals, and sheer skill. The atmosphere during their flight was one of profound human ambition pushing against the formidable limits of early aviation technology. After successfully completing more than two-thirds of their journey, covering over 22,000 miles, they faced their most challenging leg, the 2,556-mile flight from Leh to Howland Island, a tiny, remote speck in the Pacific, barely larger than a golf course, incredibly difficult to locate. The chilling atmosphere of their final hours unfolded in a series of increasingly desperate radio communications. On July 2nd, 1937, as they approached Howland Island, their radio contact with the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Itasca, stationed at Howland to guide them in, became intermittent and fraught with static. Earhart reported overcast skies, difficulty pinpointing the Itasca's signal, and a rapidly dwindling fuel supply. "We must be on you, but cannot see you, but gas is running low. Been unable to reach you by radio." Then, moments later, a final, chilling transmission. "We are on the line, 157,337. We will repeat this message. We will repeat this on 6,210 kilocycles. We are running on line north and south." And then, silence. Utter, profound silence. Their plane, its engines perhaps sputtering its last, had vanished into the vast Pacific. The unsettling climax of Amelia Earhart's disappearance lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of her final fate. Despite one of the largest and most extensive search and rescue operations in U.S. Navy history, spanning weeks and covering vast stretches of the Pacific, no trace of their plane or their bodies has ever been definitively found. No wreckage, no debris, no oil slick, no life rafts. It was as if the ocean itself had simply swallowed them whole, leaving no witness. What truly happened to Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan? Multiple theories, each tinged with a chilling sense of profound loss, attempt to explain this enduring enigma. The most widely accepted theory is that they simply ran out of fuel, crashed into the ocean, and their plane, being a heavy metal aircraft, sank rapidly to the abyssal depths, its remains forever lost to the crushing pressure and the vastness of the Pacific. Navigational errors, compounded by difficult weather and unreliable radio equipment, could easily have led them off course, missing tiny Howland Island entirely. But other, more haunting theories persist. Did they manage a forced landing on an uninhabited island, perhaps Gardner Island, Nikumaroro, and survive for a time, only to perish from starvation or thirst? Although some intriguing, non-definitive artifacts have been found on Nikumaroro, no conclusive evidence of their presence has emerged. Or did a more sinister fate await them? Did they crash land and become Japanese prisoners, perhaps due to their perceived espionage activities in sensitive Pacific territories? This theory, while popular in some circles, lacks concrete historical evidence. The enigma remains a silent, ghostly plane forever flying through the annals of mystery, its final destination unknown. The vast, silent Pacific holds its breath, guarding its terrible secret, and so, as the phantom hum of Amelia Earhart's lost aircraft fades into the endless silence of the sea, we are left with the haunting echo of her vanished presence. Her disappearance is a stark reminder that even the most daring human endeavors can be humbled by the enigmatic vastness of nature, that lives can be extinguished in a moment, leaving only the profound absence behind, in the long, forgotten nights. Did the whispers of lost pilots truly call from the depths of the ocean, their fate forever an unsolved enigma? a chilling lullaby from a time when the very sea itself could swallow souls without a trace. The profound silence of their absence speaks volumes, a haunting testament to exploration and a chilling enigma of the deep. Chapter 8. The Lost. Treasure of Lima and the Phantom Pirate did a legendary pirate's vast hoard of gleaming gold and shimmering jewels truly vanish into the hidden depths of a remote, jungle-choked island, spirited away by a desperate crew? Or does its haunting promise conceal a darker tale of betrayal and a chilling enigma of untold wealth forever lost to the whispers of the wind and the secrets of the earth? Our journey now takes us to the treacherous, sun-drenched waters of the Pacific, to the dark heart of piracy and the intoxicating allure of unimaginable riches. Here, for centuries, whispers have persisted of the lost treasure of Lima, a fortune so vast it beggars belief, allegedly buried on the remote, uninhabited shores of Cocos Island, a verdant speck in the vast ocean. This isn't merely a tale of buried gold. It is an enduring enigma, a tantalizing whisper in the jungle's embrace, drawing countless souls to its perilous, elusive promise. Our story begins in 1820, amidst the tumultuous wars of independence raging across South America. Lima, the opulent capital of the Viceroyalty of Peru, was a bastion of Spanish power and immense wealth accumulated over centuries. As rebel forces closed in, the Spanish authorities, desperate to prevent their vast riches from falling into enemy hands, decided to evacuate the treasury. A colossal fortune, gold and silver ingots, religious artifacts encrusted with jewels, priceless candlesticks, to solid gold life-size statues of the Virgin Mary and the Christ Child, and vast quantities of other precious items was loaded onto a British merchant ship, the Mary Dear, commanded by a trusted English captain, William Thompson. His mission: transport the treasure to Spain for safekeeping. Imagine the scene, the hurried, hushed loading of the treasure onto the ship under the cloak of night, the glint of gold in the lantern light, the desperate hope that this fortune, the very sinews of an empire, could be saved. The air would be thick with tension, the scent of fear and opulence mingling. But Captain Thompson, a man of daring and likely profound greed, had other plans. Once out at sea, he and his crew mutinied, slaughtering the Spanish guards and priests, and seizing the treasure for themselves. Thompson then sailed to the remote, uninhabited Cocos Island, a volcanic outpost known for its dense jungle, its abundant waterfalls, and its strategic isolation in the Pacific. Here, according to the legend, he and his crew buried the vast treasure in a secret, meticulously chosen location, intending to return for it later. Thompson was eventually captured and forced to lead authorities back to Cocos Island, but he famously gave them the slip, escaping back into the jungle and vanishing, only to resurface later and live out his days as a hermit, reportedly never revealing the treasure's true hiding spot before his death. The unsettling climax of the lost treasure of Lima's tale lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of its existence and its elusive hiding place. Is it truly there, a vast fortune waiting to be unearthed, a tangible echo of pirate cunning? Or is the entire legend a masterful deception, a tantalizing whisper born from the fertile imaginations of desperate men and treasure seekers? For over 2 centuries, countless expeditions from solo adventurers to well-funded, technologically advanced teams have descended upon Cocos Island. They have combed every inch of its rugged terrain, dug thousands of holes, used sonar and ground penetrating radar, battled the dense jungle, the venomous snakes, and the punishing humidity. Yet, the fortune remains utterly elusive. No definitive trace of the main hoard has ever been found. The island itself, now a protected national park, is a testament to both its wild, untamed beauty and the relentless human obsession with hidden wealth. Each failed expedition only deepens the mystery, adding new layers of frustration and fueling renewed hope. Was the treasure, in fact, retrieved by other members of Thompson's crew? Was it moved to a different, even more secret location? Or did it simply never exist in the colossal quantities claimed by legend, a phantom fortune that has consumed countless lives and resources in its fruitless pursuit? And so, as the phantom whispers of Captain Thompson's cunning fade into the silence, and the image of an untouched jungle island filled with untold riches shimmers on the horizon of imagination, we are left with the haunting echo of the lost treasure of Lima. Its disappearance is a stark reminder that some enigmas defy all logical assault, that the lure of wealth can drive profound obsession, and that the past can guard its secrets with chilling determination, perhaps forever. In the long, forgotten nights, did the whispers of desperate pirates truly carry the secret of its hiding place? Or was it a dark deception, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very promise of gold could lead endless souls on a futile, perilous quest, a tantalizing riddle of unrecovered wealth? The profound silence of the jungle speaks volumes, a testament to greed and a chilling enigma of fortune lost. Chapter 9. The Disappearance of the Flannan. Isle's lighthouse keepers. Did 3 men truly vanish into the mist from a remote lighthouse, spirited away by unseen forces, or does their chilling absence conceal a desperate struggle against the elements, a profound enigma swallowed whole by the unforgiving sea? Our journey now takes us to the raw, isolated, and perpetually wind-swept edge of the Outer Hebrides, off the coast of Scotland. Here, on the tiny, uninhabited Flannan Isles, in the midst of a bleak winter, a haunting mystery unfolded within the very heart of a lighthouse, a structure designed to bring light and safety to mariners, yet which itself became the stage for a baffling disappearance. Our story begins on December 15th, 1900. The Flannan Isles Lighthouse, a sturdy, imposing sentinel of stone, stood proudly atop Eilean Mor, the largest of the uninhabited islets. It was staffed by 3 experienced lighthouse keepers, James Duquette, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur, with a 4th keeper, Joseph Moore, ashore awaiting rotation. Their duty was arduous, isolated, and vital, to maintain the powerful lamp that guided ships through the treacherous North Atlantic waters. For days, the lighthouse operated as normal, its beams sweeping across the dark, turbulent sea. Imagine the daily routine in the isolated lighthouse, the rhythmic sweeping of the light, the constant roar of the wind, the crash of waves against the rocks below, the quiet camaraderie between the men in their cramped, self-sufficient quarters. The atmosphere, though solitary, was usually predictable. Then, on December 15th, the passing steamer Arcta noted that the light was unlit, an alarming observation. Due to severe storms, however, a relief vessel, the Hesperus, could not reach the island for several days. The chilling atmosphere of discovery must have been palpable as the relief keeper, Joseph Moore, and the rest of the landing party finally managed to reach Eilean Mor on December 26th. A profound, eerie silence greeted them. The lighthouse door was unlocked. Inside, everything seemed strangely normal, yet utterly wrong. A meal was half-eaten on the table in the kitchen, a chair overturned. The beds were unmade. The last logbook entry, dated December 15th, recorded severe winds and an unusual calm before the storm. It also contained cryptic notes about the storm continuing, and Marshall's strange comment that Donald Kitching MacArthur is weeping. Then, ominously, the final entry: storm ended, sea calm. God is over all. But there was no sign of the keepers. The lamps were clean, the equipment ready for use, but the men were gone, utterly, inexplicably vanished. The unsettling climax of the Flannan Isles mystery lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of their disappearance. What could have caused 3 experienced lighthouse keepers to vanish without a trace from a secure, elevated structure? There were no signs of a struggle, no bodies, no clear evidence of forced entry or violence. The logbook entries, with their unsettling references to a storm that didn't match external weather reports, and MacArthur's inexplicable weeping, only deepened the riddle. Multiple theories, each more chilling than the last, attempt to explain this profound enigma. The most widely accepted, and arguably most mundane, theory suggests a rogue wave, perhaps a colossal wave, an anomaly in the storm, swept up one of the keepers as he secured equipment outside, as the storm would have necessitated. His comrades, in a desperate attempt to rescue him, were then also swept away by subsequent waves, leaving no trace. This explains the overturned chair, a hasty departure, the unlit lamp, no time to relight it, and the missing men. But why no signs of struggle? No shattered glass, no debris? Other theories delve into darker realms. Could it have been mutual madness? A sudden descent into psychosis, perhaps fueled by the isolation, leading to a violent confrontation and a subsequent leap into the sea? The cryptic logbook entries hint at psychological distress. Was it a supernatural event, a haunting by ancient spirits of the island, or a sea monster from the deep claiming its tribute? The remoteness and forbidding nature of the islands lent themselves to such folklore, or perhaps a conspiracy, a secret rendezvous with a passing ship, or even a hidden treasure scheme gone tragically wrong. The lighthouse stands today, automated and silent, still guarding its terrible secret. No bodies, no definitive answers, just the chilling image of a perfectly maintained beacon, now empty, its purpose betrayed by the profound absence of its keepers. And so, as the phantom whispers of the Flannan Isles winds fade into the silence, we are left with the haunting echo of its vanished keepers. Their disappearance is a stark reminder that even the most meticulously documented lives can be swallowed by the enigmatic vastness of nature. That security can be an illusion, and that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved in the long forgotten nights. Did the spirits of those lost men truly wander the ancient stone stairs? Their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very sea itself could claim souls without a trace, leaving behind only the chilling emptiness of a beacon without its guardians. The profound silence of the remote island speaks volumes, a haunting testament to human vulnerability and a chilling enigma of the deep. Chapter 10. The unresolved fate of the Dyatlov Pass. Hikers. Did 9 experienced hikers truly perish in the desolate, icy reaches of the Ural Mountains from an unknown, terrifying force? Their desperate screams silenced by the vast, unforgiving snow? Or does their chilling demise conceal a deeper enigma? A whisper of a desperate escape from an unseen threat, a profound, unsolved riddle etched into the very heart of the Soviet wilderness. Our journey now takes us to the vast, forbidding, and perpetually snow-laden peaks of the northern Ural Mountains in Russia, a realm of profound solitude and relentless cold. Here, in February 1959, a group of 9 experienced hikers met a bizarre and horrifying end, their deaths creating a mystery so strange that it has defied all rational explanation for decades, becoming a haunting symbol of the inexplicable. Our story begins on January 27th, 1959. A group of 10 seasoned hikers from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, embarked on a challenging ski trekking expedition to a Taunton mountain. All were experienced mountaineers, accustomed to extreme cold and remote wilderness. One member, Yuri Yudin, fell ill and turned back, a decision that would inadvertently save his life and leave him forever haunted by the fate of his companions. Imagine the scene in the desolate mountain passes, the crunch of skis on pristine snow, the rhythmic breathing of the hikers, the vast silent expanse of white peaks stretching to the horizon. The air would be piercingly cold, the solitude profound. On February 1st, the group set up camp on the slopes of Koletsayakal, or Dead Mountain, a name that would soon take on chilling new meaning. They pitched their tent, secured it against the fierce winds, and settled in for the night. This was their last known act of normalcy. The chilling atmosphere surrounding their discovery unfolded weeks later. When the group failed to report back, a search party was launched. On February 26th, they found the hikers' tent partially collapsed, covered in snow, and most disturbingly, slashed open from the inside. Their belongings, including warm clothing, food, and equipment, were left behind, suggesting a desperate, sudden flight. Following faint footprints in the snow, the searchers found the bodies. They were scattered down the slope, some barely clothed. Despite temperatures of -25 to -30 degrees Celsius, 2 bodies were found near a fire pit, naked except for underwear. Further up the slope, 3 more bodies lay. The remaining 4 were found months later, buried in a ravine. The unsettling climax of the Dyatlov Pass incident lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of their demise and the bizarre nature of their injuries. Forensic examination revealed horrifying details that defied easy explanation. While hypothermia was the official cause of death for most, some had inexplicable, severe trauma. One woman had no eyes, and her tongue was missing. 2 others had massive chest fractures, as if crushed by an immense force, but with no external wounds. One had a major skull fracture. Crucially, some of their clothes, and one body, showed traces of radiation contamination. What truly happened on Dead Mountain that night? The evidence suggests a sudden, terrifying event that compelled them to flee their tent in a desperate, unthinking panic, tearing through the canvas rather than using the zipper. What force could inflict such internal trauma without external marks, or cause radiation contamination in a remote wilderness? Multiple theories, each more chilling than the last, have been proposed. Was it a paradoxical undressing due to hypothermia, leading them to shed clothes in a final, delusional heat? Flash. This explains some clothing issues, but not the severe injuries or radiation. Was it an avalanche or a slab avalanche that partially buried their tent, causing them to cut their way out and flee? This could explain the tent damage and some blunt force trauma, but not the missing eyes, tongue, or radiation. Chapter 11. The Vanishing of Percy Fawcett and the Lost City of Zedid. A relentless explorer and his companions truly vanish into the untamed heart of the Amazon, spirited away by ancient guardians or consumed by the impenetrable jungle, or does their enigmatic fate conceal the chilling truth of a lost civilization, a profound enigma swallowed by the very green depths of an uncharted world? Our journey now takes us to the vast, simmering, and utterly unforgiving expanse of the Amazon. rainforest, a realm where rivers snake like primordial serpents and untold secrets lie buried beneath centuries of dense foliage. Here, in the early 20th century, a British explorer of legendary tenacity, Colonel Percy Harrison Fawcett, and his two companions, disappeared without a trace, leaving behind a haunting legacy of obsession and an enduring, tantalizing riddle. The Lost City of Z. Our story begins in 1925. Percy Fawcett, a distinguished cartographer and explorer, had already undertaken several perilous expeditions into the Amazonian wilderness, mapping uncharted territories and facing unimaginable dangers. He was convinced, based on ancient legends, historical documents, and his own observations, that a vast, ancient city, a highly advanced civilization he dubbed Z, lay hidden deep within the impenetrable jungle of the Mato Grosso region of Brazil. This wasn't merely a personal quest. It was a profound scientific and spiritual calling, a relentless pursuit of a forgotten past. Imagine the atmosphere as Fawcett, his eldest son, Jack, and his friend Raleigh Rimmel plunged into the suffocating humidity of the jungle. The air would be thick with the buzzing of insects, the calls of unseen creatures, and the pervasive scent of decay and damp earth. They carried minimal supplies, believing in a lighter, faster approach, and relying on their wits and the elusive promises of indigenous guides. Their last known communication, a letter sent from a place called Dead Horse Camp on May 29, 1925, was filled with optimism, reporting good progress and high spirits. "You need have no fear of any failure," Fawcett wrote to his wife. And then silence, profound, absolute silence. No more letters, no more signals, no more traces. The chilling atmosphere of their disappearance permeated the world. Over the ensuing decades, numerous search parties, captivated by the enigma and fueled by the lure of Fawcett's potential discovery, ventured into the Amazon. Many of these rescue expeditions also met with tragedy, claiming dozens of lives, consumed by disease, hostile tribes, or the sheer immensity of the jungle itself. The Amazon, it seemed, was determined to guard its secrets. The unsettling climax of Percy Fawcett's tale lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of his final fate. What truly happened to them? Did they succumb to disease, their bodies swiftly reclaimed by the ravenous jungle? Were they attacked by hostile indigenous tribes, perhaps defending their sacred lands from intrusion? Fawcett had always respected native populations, but the Amazon was a mosaic of diverse, sometimes warring, groups. Could they have simply starved, lost their way, or fallen victim to the countless unseen dangers of the wilderness? Or, most tantalizingly, did they, in fact, find the lost city of Z and, for some unknown reason, chose to remain there, perhaps assimilated into a hidden civilization that wished to remain unseen, severing all ties with their former world? No definitive trace of Fawcett, his companions, or his elusive city has ever been found. Skeletal remains, claims by various indigenous tribes, and intriguing aerial photographs have surfaced over the years, but none have provided conclusive evidence. The Amazon continues to guard its profound secret, a silent testament to its overwhelming power and the fragility of human ambition. And so, as the phantom whispers of Percy Fawcett's relentless quest fade into the suffocating silence of the Amazon, we are left with the haunting echo of his vanished presence. His disappearance is a stark reminder that even the most determined explorers can be swallowed by the enigmatic vastness of the natural world, that some secrets are meant to remain buried, protected by the very wilderness they seek to unveil. In the long, forgotten nights, did the whispers of ancient guardians truly protect the secrets of a lost city? Its fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very jungle itself could claim souls without a trace, leaving behind only the profound emptiness of an unfulfilled dream. The dense, green silence speaks volumes, a testament to obsession and a chilling enigma of the wild dot. Chapter 12. The Unaccounted For. Roman legionaries of Teutoburg did the very forests of Germania truly swallow a legion of Rome's finest, leaving no survivor to bear witness to the profound, silent annihilation? Or does their terrifying demise whisper a chilling warning of imperial overreach and the deceptive cunning of a barbarian chieftain? Our journey now takes us to the dark, foreboding depths of the ancient Germanic forests, a realm of primeval trees and fierce, untamed tribes, far from the ordered precision of Roman civilization. Here, in the chilling autumn of 09 CE, a catastrophic military disaster unfolded that would send shivers down the spine of the Roman Empire. The utterly inexplicable annihilation of 3 Roman legions, their auxiliary forces, and their commanders, leaving no living trace, and forever altering the course of imperial history. Our story begins with Publius Quinctilius Verus, an experienced Roman general and governor of Germania. He was leading 3 legions, the 17, 18, and 19, along with 6 cohorts of auxiliary troops and 3 a lay of cavalry, a force of roughly 15,000 to 20,000 soldiers. Their mission was ostensibly a routine march through the territory of the Carusi, a Germanic tribe, but unbeknownst to Varus, he was being led into a meticulously planned trap by Arminius, a Germanic chieftain who had served in the Roman army. Learning their tactics and mastering their language, imagine the atmosphere during their ill-fated march, the long columns of disciplined legionaries, their heavy armor clanking, their standards gleaming in the dappled sunlight filtering through the dense forest canopy. The air would be damp, cool, and filled with the subtle sounds of the deep wood sounds that could mask danger. They marched through unfamiliar, difficult terrain, strung out along a narrow, muddy path, unaware that they were moving deeper and deeper into a meticulously prepared ambush. The chilling atmosphere of their discovery unfolded years later. For 3 days, the legions were ambushed, harassed, and slowly encircled by Arminius's forces. The dense forest negated Roman tactical superiority, turning their disciplined formations into scattered, vulnerable units. Rain turned the ground to mud, making their heavy armor a burden and their shields waterlogged. They fought bravely, desperately, but were systematically overwhelmed. Verus, in a final act of despair, fell on his sword. The 3 eagles, the sacred symbols of their legions, were captured on unthinkable humiliation. By the time the 3 days of slaughter were over, the entire force was annihilated, utterly vanished. The unsettling climax of the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest lies in the chilling completeness of its destruction and the long-term impact of the Roman disappearance from Germania. News of the disaster sent shockwaves through Rome. Emperor Augustus, it is said, famously cried out, "Quintili var legions retha, Quinctilius Varus, give me back my legions," a desperate plea to the void. This was not merely a defeat. It was a profound trauma, a psychological scar that marked the limits of Roman expansion. The Roman Empire effectively abandoned its ambitions to conquer Germania beyond the Rhine, drawing a permanent frontier that would define the empire's northern boundary for centuries. What truly happened to those uncounted thousands of Roman legionaries and auxiliaries? Their bodies were left unburied, desecrated by the victorious Germans. Their bones later collected and interred in a mass grave by a Roman punitive expedition led by Germanicus years later. But the profound impact was the psychological disappearance of Rome from Germania. The dream of a Roman province stretching to the Elbe was extinguished, replaced by a haunting awareness of the untamed, unconquerable barbarian lands. The very names of the lost legions, 17, 18, 19, were never used again in the Roman army, a permanent testament to their devastating annihilation. And so, as the phantom whispers of the lost legions fade into the silent, ancient forest, we are left with the haunting echo of their complete destruction. Their disappearance from the living world and from Rome's imperial dreams is a stark reminder that even the mightiest empires can be humbled by unforeseen cunning and the sheer ferocity of resistance, leaving behind a profound psychological void. In the long-forgotten nights of the Dark Ages, did the spirits of those uncounted legionaries truly haunt the deep woods of Germania? Their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very forests themselves could swallow armies whole, forever altering the course of empires. The profound silence of the unwritten future speaks volumes, a testament to a chilling enigma of military disaster. Chapter 13. The mystery of the Sangsingui culture and the alien visages revisited for disappearance. Did an ancient, secluded civilization truly emerge from an unknown past, guided by a forgotten wisdom, only to vanish into the earth, leaving behind haunting, enigmatic visages that whisper of an extraterrestrial presence? Our journey now takes us to the vast, fertile plains of Sichuan, China, a realm seemingly far removed from the traditional cradles of Chinese civilization. Here, in 1986, an astonishing discovery shattered conventional understanding of ancient Chinese history. The unearthing of two sacrificial pits filled with thousands of artifacts from the Sansingdui culture, revealing a civilization unlike any seen before or since in China, leaving behind colossal, alien-like bronze masks and figures that continue to baffle and mystify, and whose disappearance remains a profound enigma. Our story begins around 2000 to 1200 BCE, during China's Bronze Age, while the focus of archaeology had long been on the Yellow River Valley, the supposed birthplace of Chinese civilization. The Sangsingui site, near Guanghan, revealed a distinct, highly advanced culture that developed independently. It was a civilization with unique religious practices, sophisticated bronze casting techniques, and a peculiar artistic style that bore little resemblance to the familiar Shang or Zhou dynasties that dominated other parts of China. Imagine the hushed awe mingled with profound bewilderment as archaeologists carefully uncovered the contents of the sacrificial pits. Thousands of objects emerged from the earth, pristine despite millennia of burial, intricate bronze vessels of unique designs, elegant jade, ceremonial objects, vast quantities of elephant tusks, but nothing prepared them for the true enigma. A series of monumental bronze masks and figures, some towering over 8 feet tall, with strikingly non-human, almost otherworldly features. They possessed exaggerated almond-shaped eyes that seemed to gaze into another dimension, immense elongated ears, and prominent, often angular, noses. Some of these faces were even covered in shimmering gold foil, adding to their surreal grandeur. These faces were not simply foreign, they were alien, challenging all preconceived notions of ancient Chinese aesthetics and cosmology. The chilling atmosphere around these discoveries was one of profound disorientation and unanswered questions. Who were these people? What was the meaning of these bizarre, grotesque visages? Were they depictions of ancient deities, powerful shamans in ritualistic trance, or perhaps even fantastical beings from another realm, or perhaps even a record of visitors from beyond the stars? The fact that these artifacts were deliberately broken and buried in pits, rather than interred in tombs, suggested a profound ritualistic act, perhaps to consecrate, or to cleanse, or to prepare for a profound unknown transition, or even to hide them from something. The unsettling climax of the Sangsing Dwi culture's tale lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of its origins and its sudden, inexplicable disappearance. Where did this unique culture come from? It seemed to appear fully formed, a sudden bloom of sophistication with no clear evolutionary predecessors in the region, and just as mysteriously, around 1200 BCE, it abruptly vanished. Its magnificent sites were abandoned, its distinctive artistic style disappeared entirely from the archaeological record, its unique bronze tradition ceased. There is no evidence of widespread invasion or conquest that could explain its sudden cessation. What truly happened to the Sangsindwi people? Was it a massive earthquake, diverting the river that sustained them and forcing a desperate, unrequited migration? Was it a deliberate relocation, or a gradual absorption into other, less distinct cultures, their unique identity dissolving over time as they blended into other groups? Or do the strange, alien-like visages of their bronze masks whisper of a more profound, unsettling truth, connection to forces or beings beyond earthly comprehension, a guiding presence that arrived, inspired, and then vanished, leaving behind only these enigmatic effigies and a profound silence? The undeciphered script found at the site, if ever translated, might hold the key to this profound mystery, speaking of their beliefs, their history, and their ultimate fate. And so, as the phantom whispers of the Sangsingwi culture fade into the silence, and the image of their colossal, alien faces lingers in the mind, we are left with the haunting echo of its vanished presence. Their disappearance is a stark reminder that history holds profound, unsettling secrets, that cultures can emerge and vanish in ways that defy our current understanding, leaving behind riddles etched in bronze. In the long, forgotten nights of the dark ages of China, did the spirits of the Sangsing Dwi truly commune with otherworldly beings, their fate forever an unsolved enigma? A chilling lullaby from a time when the very faces of their gods were a terrifying, silent question from beyond the stars, a profound absence that challenges the very foundations of ancient history. The profound silence of their origins speaks volumes, a testament to a riddle that time refuses to solve. Chapter 14. The enigmatic fate of Amelia Earhart revisited. Did a pioneering aviator and her steadfast navigator truly vanish into the vast, indifferent expanse of the Pacific, swallowed by its boundless depths, leaving only the chilling void of unanswered questions? Or does their enigmatic fate conceal a deeper mystery, a haunting whisper of a mission gone tragically wrong, forever lost to the horizon? Our journey now takes us to the shimmering, endless blue of the central Pacific Ocean, to a time when aviation was still a daring frontier, and the sky held both boundless promise and terrifying unknowns. Here, on a fateful summer day in 1937, one of history's most iconic figures, Amelia Earhart, and her navigator, Fred Noonan, disappeared without a trace, etching their names into the annals of unsolved mysteries. Our story begins on May 21, 1937, from Lae, New Guinea. Amelia Earhart, already a celebrated American aviator, the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic, embarked on her most ambitious and dangerous journey, an attempt to circumnavigate the globe at its widest point, roughly along the equator. Her co-pilot and navigator was Fred Noonan, a highly experienced and respected figure in aviation, known for his navigational skills. Their aircraft was a twin-engine Lockheed Electra 10E, modified for long-distance flight, equipped with extra fuel tanks, but lacking some of the advanced navigational and communication equipment that would become standard in later decades. Imagine the courage and sheer determination required for such an endeavor, countless hours of flying over featureless ocean, relying on celestial navigation, rudimentary radio signals, and sheer skill. The atmosphere during their flight was one of profound human ambition, pushing against the formidable limits of early aviation technology, a race against fuel consumption and the vastness of the planet. After successfully completing more than two-thirds of their journey, covering over 22,000 miles, they faced their most challenging leg, the 2,556-mile flight from Leh to Howland Island, a tiny, remote speck in the Pacific, barely larger than a golf course, incredibly difficult to locate, even with precise coordinates. The chilling atmosphere of their final hours unfolded in a series of increasingly desperate radio communications. On July 2, 1937, as they approached Howland Island, their radio contact with the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Itasca, stationed at Howland, to guide them in, became intermittent and fraught with static. Earhart reported overcast skies, difficulty pinpointing the Itasca's signal, and a rapidly dwindling fuel supply. Her voice, though strained, maintained a quiet resolve. "We must. Beyond you, but cannot see. You but gas is running low. Been unable to reach you by radio." Then, moments later, a final, chilling, fragmented transmission. "We are on the line 157,337. We will repeat this message. We will repeat this on 6,210 kilocycles. We are running on line north and south." And then, silence. Utter, profound silence. Their plane, its engines perhaps sputtering its last, had vanished into the vast Pacific. The unsettling climax of Amelia Earhart's disappearance lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of her final fate. Despite one of the largest and most extensive search and rescue operations in U.S. Navy history, spanning weeks and covering vast stretches of the Pacific, involving ships and aircraft, no trace of their plane or their bodies has ever been definitively found. No wreckage, no debris, no oil slick, no life rafts. It was as if the ocean itself had simply swallowed them whole, leaving no witness, no final trace. What truly happened to Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan? Multiple theories, each tinged with a chilling sense of profound loss, attempt to explain this enduring enigma. The most widely accepted theory, based on the evidence of their last transmissions, is that they simply ran out of fuel, crashed into the unforgiving ocean, and their heavy metal plane sank rapidly to the abyssal depths. Its remains forever lost to the crushing pressure and the immense vastness of the Pacific. Navigational errors, compounded by difficult weather conditions, the fatigue of a grueling journey, and the inherent unreliability of early radio equipment, could easily have led them off course, causing them to miss tiny Howland Island entirely. But other, more haunting theories persist, fueling the endless fascination. Did they manage a forced landing on a remote, uninhabited island? Perhaps Nicomaroro, then Gardner Island, and survive for a time, only to perish from starvation, thirst, or injury, although some intriguing, non-definitive artifacts, like shoe fragments and bones, have been found on Nicomaroro, no conclusive, undeniable evidence directly linking them to Earhart and Noonan has ever emerged. Or did a more sinister fate await them? Did they crash land and become Japanese prisoners? Perhaps due to their flight path crossing sensitive Pacific territories during a period of rising international tensions. This theory, while popular in some circles and fueling dramatic tales, lacks concrete historical evidence from Japanese archives. The enigma remains, a silent, ghostly plane forever flying through the annals of mystery, its final destination unknown. The vast, silent Pacific holds its breath, guarding its terrible secret. A profound void where two courageous souls once soared. And so, as the phantom hum of Amelia Earhart's lost aircraft fades into the endless silence of the sea, and the image of her determined face lingers in the mind, we are left with the haunting echo of her vanished presence. Her disappearance is a stark reminder that even the most daring human endeavors can be humbled by the enigmatic vastness of nature, that lives can be extinguished in a moment, leaving only the profound absence behind in the long, forgotten nights. Did the whispers of lost pilots truly call from the depths of the ocean, their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very sea itself could swallow souls without a trace, leaving behind only the chilling emptiness of an iconic, unfulfilled dream? The profound silence of their absence speaks volumes, a haunting testament to exploration and a chilling enigma of the deep. Chapter 15. The Vanished. Settlers of the Jamestown fort, did the first tenacious English settlers truly vanish into the harrowing embrace of the wilderness, consumed by disease and starvation? Or does their enigmatic disappearance conceal a chilling whisper of indigenous wrath and a profound, unsolved struggle for survival in the brutal crucible of the New World? Our journey now takes us to the marshy, mosquito-ridden shores of Virginia, to the early 17th century, where the first permanent English colony in North America, Jamestown, struggled to take root. Here, amidst the profound challenges of a new land and the unpredictable interactions with powerful native tribes, a significant portion of its early inhabitants simply disappeared, leaving behind only tantalizing clues and a haunting legacy of profound loss. Our story begins in May 1607, when 104 English men and boys landed on a swampy peninsula in the James River, establishing Jamestown. Their dream was to find gold, convert natives, and establish a lucrative trade empire for England. But the reality was far grimmer. The location, though seemingly defensible, was plagued by disease-carrying mosquitoes, brackish water, and hostile native tribes led by the formidable chief Powhatan. The early years of Jamestown were a brutal struggle for survival, marked by starvation, disease, and relentless conflict. Imagine the atmosphere within the hastily constructed Jamestown fort, the constant gnawing of hunger, the pervasive dampness, the ever-present threat of attack from unseen foes in the dense forest. The colonists, many ill-suited for the harsh wilderness, died in droves. The most infamous period, the starving time of the winter of 1609 to 1610, reduced the population from 500 to a mere 60 emaciated survivors. Bodies were buried secretly to conceal the devastating mortality rate. Yet, beyond these known casualties, many individuals simply disappeared, their fates unrecorded, their names fading into the anonymous suffering of the early colony. The unsettling climax of the Jamestown disappearance lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of what truly happened to these uncounted lost souls. While disease and starvation were undoubtedly rampant, accounting for much of the mortality, many simply vanished from the rolls, their names never appearing again in subsequent records. What became of them? Did they, desperate for food, wander off into the wilderness, succumbing to exposure or starvation, their bodies never found? Were they captured by local Native American tribes, perhaps integrated into their societies, or brutally executed in retribution for English encroachments? Or did some simply desert, abandoning the hopeless struggle, attempting to make their way to other unknown settlements or even back to Europe, only to be lost at sea or to the vastness of the continent? Archaeological discoveries at Jamestown have unearthed chilling evidence. The remains of individuals bearing signs of cannibalism during the starving time, a stark testament to the unimaginable desperation. But even these gruesome finds don't account for the hundreds who simply vanished without a trace, their individual fates absorbed into the larger tragedy of early colonial struggle. The very lack of precise documentation, the chaotic nature of the early settlement, and the unforgiving wilderness all conspire to keep their individual stories eternally unsolved. The ghost of Jamestown's vanished settlers whispers of a profound human struggle against an untamed land, a brutal clash of cultures, and the relentless grip of disease and hunger. It is a chilling reminder that the foundations of new worlds are often built on sacrifice and profound unrecorded loss. And so, as the phantom whispers of the vanished Jamestown settlers fade into the silence of the marshy banks, we are left with the haunting echo of their unknown fates. Their disappearance is a stark reminder that even the most determined human endeavors can be humbled by the enigmatic vastness of nature and the brutal realities of colonization. In the long, forgotten nights, did the spirits of those lost souls truly wander the ancient forests, their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very wilderness itself could swallow pioneers whole, leaving behind only the profound emptiness of unfulfilled dreams. The profound silence of their absence speaks volumes, a testament to hardship and a chilling enigma of early America. Chapter 16. The lost city of Petra's missing inhabitants did a magnificent city, carved into the very stone of the desert, truly lose its vibrant soul, its inhabitants vanishing into the dust? Or does its profound silence whisper a chilling warning of economic decline and changing trade routes, an enigma swallowed by the relentless shift of history? Our journey now takes us to the dramatic, rose-red canyons of southern Jordan, to the awe-inspiring ruins of Petra, the ancient capital of the Nabateans. Here, millennia ago, a thriving metropolis flourished, famed for its intricate rock-cut architecture and its strategic position on ancient trade routes. Yet, after centuries of prosperity, its vibrant population seemingly disappeared, leaving behind only its magnificent, silent facades as a profound, haunting enigma. Our story begins around the 4th century BCE, when the Nabateans, an ancient Arab people, settled in Petra, establishing it as a crucial hub on the incense and spice trade routes between Arabia, Mesopotamia, and the Mediterranean. They were master hydraulic engineers, devising complex systems to collect and store water in their arid environment. They were also unparalleled stone carvers, creating breathtaking tombs, temples, and homes directly into the vibrant sandstone cliffs, culminating in iconic structures like Al-Khazna, the treasury, and Ad-Dir, the monastery. Imagine the vibrant life of Petra at its peak, the bustling markets echoing with the cries of merchants, the clatter of camel caravans arriving from distant lands, the murmur of prayers rising from its rock-cut temples, all nestled within the dramatic embrace of the sick, its narrow, towering gorge. For centuries, this city flourished, its wealth growing, its architecture soaring, its population thriving. It was a beacon of trade and culture in the ancient world. Then, beginning in the 4th century CE, a profound silence began to descend upon Petra. While it continued to be inhabited, its prominence slowly waned. By the 7th or 8th century, it was largely abandoned, its vibrant population seemingly vanishing, leaving behind only the magnificent, empty shell of a city. It wasn't a sudden, violent conquest that explains its complete emptying. There is no evidence of a devastating invasion that depopulated it overnight. It was a gradual, yet chilling, cessation of its former life. The unsettling climax of Petra's disappearance lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of what truly happened to its vibrant inhabitants. What compelled the Nabatean people to abandon their thriving city, their monumental homes carved into the very rock? Multiple theories, each hinting at a slow, agonizing decline, attempt to explain this profound enigma. One leading theory points to a shift in trade routes. The rise of maritime trade, bypassing the overland routes through Petra, would have slowly strangled the city's economic lifeblood. As caravans became less frequent, the source of its wealth diminished, forcing its inhabitants to seek economic opportunities elsewhere, gradually migrating to more prosperous centers. Another significant factor was likely natural disasters. A series of devastating earthquakes, particularly a powerful one in 363 CE, caused considerable damage to the city's infrastructure, including its vital water supply systems. While repairs were attempted, the cumulative effect of such disasters could have made the city increasingly difficult to maintain and inhabit. Could it also have been resource depletion? While masters of water management, the growing population and changing environmental conditions might have strained their ability to sustain themselves in an increasingly arid region. Or perhaps it was a gradual assimilation, the Nabatean people slowly blending into other cultures, their distinct identity dissolving as they migrated. The true reason for Petra's ultimate abandonment remains elusive. A complex interplay of economic forces, natural disasters, and the slow, relentless shift of history. The magnificent ruins stand today, silent and empty, their intricate facades gazing out at a changed world, a haunting warning of a civilization whose lifeblood slowly dried up. And so, as the phantom whispers of Petra's vanished inhabitants fade into the silent, sun-baked canyons, we are left with the haunting echo of their absence. Their disappearance is a stark reminder that even the most magnificent and resilient cities can simply melt away, their secrets swallowed by the relentless advance of economic and environmental change in the long, forgotten nights of the dark ages. Did the spirits of those lost people truly wander the empty rock-cut streets, their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very stones themselves bore witness to a profound societal transformation, leaving only the chilling emptiness of an abandoned wonder? The profound silence of their magnificent city speaks volumes, a testament to both grandeur and enigmatic decline. Chapter 17. The Fate of the Colony of Saguenay and the Arctic. Whispers did a visionary French colony truly vanish into the unforgiving embrace of the Canadian wilderness, consumed by cold and starvation? Or does its elusive disappearance conceal a chilling whisper of betrayal and a profound unsolved struggle for survival in the brutal crucible of an unknown land? Our journey now takes us to the vast, primeval forests and icy waters of what is now eastern Canada, to the early 16th century, a time of profound European ambition to find new wealth and forge new empires in the Americas. Here, amidst the profound challenges of a harsh climate and the unpredictable interactions with indigenous peoples, a pioneering French colony, Saguenay, simply disappeared, leaving behind only tantalizing hints and a haunting legacy of unfulfilled dreams. Our story begins in 1542, when Jean-François de la Roque de Roberval, a French nobleman and royal lieutenant general, embarked on a grand expedition to establish a permanent colony at Cap Rouge, near modern-day Quebec City. His mission was to secure French claims to the newly explored lands, to find riches, and to establish a foothold for future trade and settlement. Following the earlier explorations of Jacques Cartier, Roberval was convinced that the legendary gold-rich kingdom of Saguenay lay just beyond the reach of his current endeavors, promising untold wealth. Imagine the atmosphere as the French settlers, a mix of hardened adventurers and eager colonists, landed on the shores of the St. Lawrence River. The air would be piercingly cold, the vastness of the wilderness overwhelming, and the silence profound, broken only by the crackle of fire and the distant cries of wild animals. They began to build a fort, Charlesbourg Royal, hoping to establish a self-sufficient settlement. But the Canadian winter, a brutal force of nature, quickly asserted its dominance. Scurvy, a relentless and horrifying disease, began to claim lives. The harsh realities of frontier life, coupled with the lack of immediate gold discoveries, led to plummeting morale. Roberval himself returned to France in 1543, leaving a significant portion of his settlers behind, with promises of reinforcements and supplies. He would eventually return to North America, but never specifically to Saguenay. The fate of those left behind is largely unknown. The chilling silence that followed their initial reports is profound. The colony, much like the mythical Golden Kingdom it sought, seemingly vanished into the vast, indifferent wilderness. The unsettling climax of the Saguenay colony's disappearance lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of what truly happened to its inhabitants. What compelled these tenacious settlers to simply vanish from the historical record? While disease and starvation were undoubtedly rampant, accounting for much of the mortality, many simply disappeared from the chronicles, their individual fates unrecorded. Did they, desperate for survival, wander off into the immense forests, succumbing to exposure or starvation, their bodies never found? Were they attacked or captured by local Native American tribes, perhaps the Iroquois or Algonquians, who viewed them as intruders on their lands? Or did some simply desert, abandoning the hopeless struggle against the elements and the elusive promise of gold, attempting to make their way back to Europe or to other unknown trading posts, only to be lost to the vastness of the Atlantic or the Canadian interior? No definitive mass grave, no clear evidence of massacre, and no surviving accounts from the colonists themselves have ever emerged. The Canadian wilderness, with its vastness and its harsh winters, proved to be an unforgiving crucible, capable of swallowing human endeavor without a trace. The ghost of Saguenay's vanished settlers, whispers of a profound human struggle against an untamed land, a brutal clash of European ambition with North American reality, and the relentless grip of cold, hunger, and unfulfilled dreams. It is a chilling reminder that the foundations of new empires are often built on sacrifice and profound unrecorded loss, and so, As the phantom whispers of the vanished Saguenay colony fade into the silence of the vast Canadian forests, we are left with the haunting echo of their unknown fates. Their disappearance is a stark reminder that even the most determined human endeavors can be humbled by the enigmatic vastness of nature and the brutal realities of colonization. In the long, forgotten nights, did the spirits of those lost souls truly wander the ancient woods? Their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very wilderness itself could swallow pioneers whole, leaving behind only the profound emptiness of unfulfilled dreams. The profound silence of their absence speaks volumes, a testament to hardship and a chilling enigma of early colonial ambition. Chapter 18. The vanishing of the Romanov gold train and the Siberian secret did a legendary treasure. The very sinews of a collapsing empire truly vanish into the desolate, frozen expanse of Siberia, spirited away by unseen hands amidst the chaos of revolution. Or does its enigmatic disappearance conceal a chilling whisper of betrayal, a profound enigma of immense wealth forever lost to the vast, unforgiving landscape? Our journey now takes us to the bleak, endless wilderness of Siberia, to the tumultuous heart of the Russian Civil War in the early 20th century. Here, amidst the brutal ideological struggle between Reds and Whites, a train allegedly carrying the vast gold reserves of the Russian Empire. The Romanov gold mysteriously disappeared, becoming a haunting symbol of lost imperial power and an enduring, tantalizing riddle. Our story begins in 1918. The Bolshevik Revolution had overthrown the Tsarist regime, and Russia was plunged into a brutal civil war between the Red Army Bolsheviks and the White Army anti-Bolshevik forces. As the conflict raged, the Provisional Government, then the White Army under Admiral Alexander Kolchak, attempted to move the immense gold reserves of the Russian Empire, tens of thousands of tons of gold, accumulated over centuries from Kazan, to a safer location in Siberia, away from the encroaching Red Army. This wasn't merely wealth. It was the very economic backbone of the White cause, meant to finance their war effort and prevent it from falling into Bolshevik hands. Imagine the atmosphere during its perilous journey: the vast, desolate Siberian landscape, endless forests of taiga and frozen tundra, the biting cold, the constant threat of ambush, and the overwhelming chaos of a nation tearing itself apart. The gold, transported on armored trains, was a prize beyond measure, guarded by desperate, often ill-disciplined, soldiers. The air would be thick with tension, the scent of gunpowder and desperation clinging to the frozen air. As the White Army faced overwhelming defeats, Admiral Kolchak, whose forces were guarding a significant portion of the gold, found himself in a desperate retreat across Siberia along the Trans-Siberian Railway. It was during this chaotic, brutal withdrawal, in the depths of the Siberian winter of 1919-1920, that the bulk of the gold train, supposedly carrying 500 tons of gold, simply vanished. Kolchak himself was captured and executed by the Bolsheviks. The unsettling climax of the Romanov gold's tale lies in its sudden, inexplicable disappearance amidst the final, brutal throes of the White Army's collapse. What became of it? Did the train derail and sink into the icy depths of Lake Baikal, the deepest freshwater lake in the world, its enormous weight pulling it into the abyssal void? Divers have explored parts of the lake, but found no definitive trace of such a colossal treasure. Was it seized by rogue elements of the White Army, hidden by desperate officers hoping to reclaim it later, only to die without revealing its secret? Was it quietly absorbed by various factions, warlords, or even foreign powers, who then ensured its permanent disappearance from public record. Legends abound, buried in secret tunnels, hidden in obscure caves, in the vast Siberian wilderness, or simply scattered and looted by desperate soldiers. Despite countless searches, expeditions, and dedicated investigations stretching over a century, no significant portion of the Roanoke gold train has ever been definitively found. Its fate remains one of the greatest unsolved treasure mysteries of the 20th century, and so, as the phantom whispers of the Roanoke gold train fade into the silent, frozen expanse of Siberia, we are left with the haunting echo of its vanished promise. Its disappearance is a stark reminder that even the most tangible treasures can be swallowed by the chaos of human conflict, becoming a haunting symbol of lost imperial power and the brutal realities of war. In the long-forgotten nights, did the whispers of desperate soldiers truly carry the secret of its hiding place, or was it a dark deception, a chilling enigma forever bound to the brutal shadow of civil war? The absence of its gleam speaks volumes, a chilling lullaby from a time when an empire's fortune could simply vanish, leaving only a tantalizing riddle behind. Chapter 19. The Disappearance of the Mahau and the Lost. Burmese sapphire, did a solitary figure and a precious gem truly vanish into the untamed emerald depths of the Burmese jungle, spirited away by ancient spirits or consumed by the impenetrable wilderness? Or does their enigmatic fate conceal a chilling whisper of theft and betrayal? A profound enigma swallowed by the very green depths of an uncharted world. Our journey now takes us to the shimmering, suffocating heart of colonial Burma, modern-day Myanmar, to the late 19th century, a time when the British Empire cast its long shadow over vast, mysterious lands, and the allure of precious gems drove men to incredible, often perilous, lengths. Here, an unforgettable sapphire of staggering size and beauty, and its trusted keeper, a seasoned mahout, disappeared without a trace, leaving behind a haunting legacy of lost treasure and an enduring, tantalizing riddle. Our story begins around 1888. The British, having recently annexed Upper Burma, were eager to exploit its vast natural resources, particularly its legendary ruby and sapphire mines in the Mogok Valley. One particular find, a magnificent Burmese sapphire of extraordinary size and purity, became the subject of intense fascination and immense value. This wasn't merely a gem, it was a symbol of imperial wealth, a jewel destined for a crown or a royal collection. Imagine the atmosphere during its transport, the dense, suffocating humidity of the jungle, the pervasive buzzing of insects, the rustle of unseen wildlife, and the constant vigilance required to guard such an immense treasure. The sapphire was entrusted to a seasoned mahout, an elephant handler, and his loyal elephant. The safest and most reliable mode of transport through the treacherous jungle terrain. Their mission was to carry the gem from the mines to a British colonial outpost, a journey that would take them deep through the wild, uncharted interior. The chilling atmosphere of their disappearance permeated the colonial outposts. The mahout and his elephant, along with the invaluable sapphire, simply vanished. Days turned into weeks, then months, without word. Search parties, composed of British soldiers and local guides, plunged into the impenetrable jungle. They battled the humid heat, the dense foliage, and the constant threat of disease and wild animals. They found no trace of the mahout, his elephant, or the sapphire, utterly vanished. The unsettling climax of the Burmese sapphire's tale lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of its final fate. What truly happened to them? did the man, overcome by the immense temptation, simply abscond with the gem, disappearing into the vast anonymity of the region, perhaps melting into the indigenous population or fleeing to another land? Or was it a more violent end, an ambush by bandits, a confrontation with hostile tribal groups defending their territory, or a tragic accident in the unforgiving jungle terrain, perhaps a fall into a ravine or a deadly encounter with a wild animal? The thick jungle, with its rapid decomposition, could easily swallow all evidence without a trace. No definitive trace of the mahout, his elephant, or the sapphire has ever been found. The jungle itself, a silent, ancient entity, seems to guard its secrets with a formidable resolve. The legend, however, has persisted, fueling countless treasure hunts and whispered tales of its immense value, drawing adventurers and dreamers to its elusive promise. And so, as the phantom whispers of the lost Burmese sapphire fade into the suffocating silence of the jungle, we are left with the haunting echo of its vanished gleam. Its disappearance is a stark reminder that even the most tangible treasures can be swallowed by the enigmatic vastness of nature and the shifting currents of human greed and ambition. In the long-forgotten nights did the whispers of the jungle spirits truly protect a hidden fortune, its fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very wilderness itself could claim souls and precious gems without a trace, leaving behind only the profound emptiness of an unfulfilled dream. The dense, green silence speaks volumes, a testament to desire and a chilling enigma of the wild. Chapter 20. The unseen force of the Bermuda Triangle and its vanishing ships did a malevolent force, lurking beneath the waves, truly claim all who trespass upon its domain, tearing open the very fabric of reality to swallow ships and souls into an abyssal void. Or is its haunting legend a chilling enigma, born from the terror of relentless storms and the profound despair of maritime tragedy? Our journey now takes us from the ancient world to a more recent, yet equally enigmatic realm of mystery. The vast, shimmering expanse of the Atlantic Ocean, specifically a region known as the Bermuda Triangle. Here, for centuries, an unsettling pattern of unexplained disappearances, ships and planes vanishing without a trace, has created one of the world's most enduring and terrifying marine riddles. Our story begins not with a single event, but with a recurring nightmare that has plagued mariners and aviators for centuries. The Bermuda Triangle, roughly bounded by Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico, is a notoriously busy shipping lane. Yet, since at least the mid-19th century, an unusual number of vessels and aircraft have vanished within its boundaries under bizarre or inexplicable circumstances. These aren't just isolated incidents. It's a pattern of total absence, leaving no wreckage, no distress calls, no survivors. Imagine the routine on board a modern freighter or a passenger plane, navigating the seemingly calm, turquoise waters of the Atlantic. The engines hum steadily, the crew goes about their duties, the passengers relax. Then, without warning, something shifts. Communications become garbled, instruments malfunction, and a profound, terrifying silence descends. The ship, or the plane, simply ceases to exist, dissolving into the vastness of the ocean or the emptiness of the sky. The chilling atmosphere around these disappearances is one of profound dread and utter helplessness. Witnesses to some incidents speak of strange lights in the sky, unusual magnetic phenomena, or sudden, inexplicable fogs that envelop vessels. The consistent pattern of total absence, no wreckage, no debris, no oil slickers, what truly defines the enigma. It is as if the very elements conspire to erase all evidence, to swallow every trace of human endeavor. The unsettling climax of the Bermuda Triangle's tale lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of its true nature. What force could cause so many vessels and aircraft to simply vanish without a trace? Is it merely a statistical anomaly, a region with heavy traffic and unpredictable weather, where human error and natural phenomena account for all the disappearances? Sudden, extreme weather events like rogue waves, waterspouts, or microbursts could certainly overwhelm a vessel without leaving a trace. Magnetic anomalies, which are indeed present in the area, could cause navigational instruments to fail, leading to disorientation and errors. But the more haunting theories persist, fueling the legend. Are there unseen energy fields, time warps, or dimensional portals that momentarily open, pulling ships and planes into an abyssal void from which there is no return? Do extraterrestrial beings operate beneath the waves, collecting human technology or specimens? Or is it a profound geological phenomenon, perhaps massive methane gas eruptions from the seabed that could instantly reduce the density of water, causing ships to sink without warning, or create air disturbances that bring down aircraft? The lack of definitive wreckage, the sheer scale of the disappearances, and the consistent pattern of unexplained losses transformed the Bermuda Triangle into a potent symbol of the unexplained. The enigma remains, a silent, spectral void in the vast ocean, forever holding its terrible secrets. No bodies, no definitive answers, just the chilling image of a perfectly sound vessel or a modern aircraft dissolving into nothingness. A maritime riddle whispered on the winds and currents of the Atlantic. And so, as the phantom whispers of the Bermuda Triangle's vanished ships fade into the endless silence of the sea, we are left with the haunting echo of their terrifying absence. Their disappearance is a stark reminder that even in the modern age, the earth holds secrets beyond our current grasp, that the vastness of the ocean can swallow proof without a trace. In the long-forgotten nights did the whispers of lost crews truly call from a strange, silent depth, their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very air and sea could claim souls without a trace, leaving behind only the chilling emptiness of a profound, enduring mystery. The profound silence of their absence speaks volumes, a terrifying testament to an enduring enigma of the deep. Chapter 21. The Lost Gold of the Confederacy, and the echoes of war revisited for disappearance, did a vast fortune, the last desperate hope of a dying cause, truly vanish into the shattered landscape of a defeated nation, spirited away by unseen hands amidst the chaos of collapse? Or does its very existence hold a dark secret, a chilling enigma wrapped in the brutal embrace of conflict and whispered deception, forever lost to the annals of time? Our journey now takes us to the ravaged, war-torn landscape of the American South, in the brutal, final days of the Civil War. Here, amidst the fiery collapse of an empire and the desperate flight of its leaders, a legendary treasure, the lost gold of the Confederacy, mysteriously disappeared, becoming a haunting symbol of unfulfilled dreams and an enduring, tantalizing riddle. Its gleam now only a phantom echo. Our story begins in the turbulent spring of 1865. The Confederate States of America, having fought a bloody and devastating 4-year war against the Union, were on the verge of utter collapse. Richmond, the Confederate capital, was falling to Union forces. In a desperate final act, President Jefferson Davis and his cabinet, along with a dwindling escort of loyal soldiers, fled southward, carrying with them what remained of the Confederate treasury, a considerable sum in gold and silver coin, precious ingots, and valuable jewels. This treasure was not merely wealth. It was the last tangible symbol of a dying cause, meant to pay the remaining, exhausted troops, finance a desperate continuation of resistance, or perhaps escape to establish a government in exile in a foreign land. Imagine the atmosphere during their perilous, desperate flight, the muddy, ravaged roads churned by countless armies, the constant, gnawing fear of capture, the weary, haunted faces of the fleeing officials and their loyal guard. The air would be thick with desperation, the scent of gunpowder, still lingering from recent battles, mingling with the pervasive odor of defeat. The Confederate gold, loaded into wagons and onto the backs of horses, was a heavy burden, a tantalizing prize that drew the attention of both desperate Confederate soldiers seeking their long-overdue pay and eager Union cavalry relentlessly pursuing them. The treasure's journey was fraught with peril and marked by uncertainty, dissolving into a labyrinth of fragmented accounts and whispered rumors. It passed through multiple hands, buried and reburied in hurried, secret locations, split into smaller portions to make it less conspicuous. Each transaction shrouded in extreme secrecy to evade capture. As President Davis himself was finally captured by Union forces in Georgia in May 1865, the vast majority of the treasury seemed to simply vanish. The unsettling climax of the lost gold's tale lies in its sudden, inexplicable disappearance amidst the final, chaotic throes of surrender, and the dawn of a new, uncertain era. What truly became of it? Did the last loyal custodians, perhaps a small, dedicated group, bury it in a hidden location deep in the wilderness, only to perish themselves before revealing its secret, taking the knowledge to their graves? Was it simply stolen by disgruntled, mutinous soldiers, desperate for a share of the vanishing wealth of a lost cause, and then dispersed into countless individual pockets, lost to anonymous greed and the passage of time? Did it fall into the hands of shadowy figures, powerful individuals who quietly absorbed it into their own fortunes, ensuring its permanent disappearance from public record through bribery and influence? Legends abound, each more tantalizing than the last. Buried alongside forgotten railroad lines, deliberately sunk in a deep river or lake, hidden in obscure caves in the vast, unexplored regions of the South, or simply scattered and looted by the winds of war, too numerous to track and too fragmented to ever reassemble. Despite countless searches, treasure hunts, and dedicated investigations stretching over a century and a half, fueled by maps, rumors, and new technologies, no significant portion of the Confederate gold has ever been definitively found or accounted for. Its fate remains one of the greatest unsolved treasure mysteries in American history, a wound that refuses to heal. And so, as the phantom whispers of the lost gold fade into the silent, scarred landscape of the American South, we are left with the haunting echo of its vanished promise. Its disappearance is a stark reminder that even the most tangible treasures can be swallowed by the chaos of human conflict, becoming a haunting symbol of broken dreams, a divided past, and unfulfilled retribution in the long, forgotten nights. Did the whispers of dying soldiers truly carry the secret of its hiding place, their final breaths exhaling a truth forever lost to the wind? Or was it a dark deception, a chilling enigma forever bound to the brutal shadow of civil war? The profound absence of its gleams speaks volumes, a chilling lullaby from a time when a nation's last hope could simply vanish, leaving only a tantalizing riddle and the ghost of immense wealth behind. Chapter 22. The bog people of Tolland, and the smile of sacrifice, revisited for disappearance, did the dark. Whispering bogs truly claim human lives as accidental victims, swallowing them into their cold, acidic embrace, or were they consecrated? Places of unspeakable ritual, demanding a profound sacrifice to silent gods, a chilling enigma etched onto the very faces of the doomed. Our journey now takes us again to the eerie, desolate peat bogs of northern Europe, specifically to the cold, damp heart of ancient Denmark. Here, in the mid-20th century, peat cutters, harvesting fuel from the earth, unearthed bodies preserved with an almost terrifying fidelity, transforming flesh into leathery, dark effigies. Speaking of lives lived and brutally ended in the Iron Age, their purpose a profound and chilling enigma. Among these, the most famous is Tolland Man, whose remarkably preserved face carries an unsettling, serene expression, despite the clear evidence of a violent, ritualized death. Our story begins over 2 millennia ago in the Iron Age, a time of profound reverence for nature, of powerful, often capricious, deities, and of communities deeply intertwined with the land's bounty and its unpredictable moods. For reasons still debated, hundreds of individuals met their end in these desolate bogs. When discovered, sometimes by those simply digging for peat, these bog bodies emerge with an unsettling realism, their skin leathery and darkened, their hair and fingernails often perfectly preserved, their last expressions etched onto their faces, as if they had merely fallen into a deep sleep. Tolland Man, discovered in 1950, was so well preserved that his discoverers initially thought he was a recent murder victim, prompting a police investigation. Imagine the scene just before his disappearance. A mist-shrouded bog, the ground soft and treacherous, the air thick with the scent of decaying vegetation and the chill of the northern clime. A figure, likely a man in his 30s, perhaps with a slight, almost peaceful smile on his lips, is led to the dark, peaty water. Around his neck is a tightly drawn leather noose, often found with other bog bodies. The methods of death are frequently brutal and deliberate, far beyond simple accident. Throats cut, heads bashed, bodies repeatedly stabbed, or ritualistically. Tolland Man's final meal, meticulously examined from his stomach contents, consisted of a porridge made from various wild seeds and grains, consumed just 12 to 24 hours before his death. Specific, unusual last meal that echoes among other bog bodies, strongly suggesting a precise, ritualistic purpose to their consumption. The chilling atmosphere surrounding Tolland Man and others like him, such as Graubel Man or Lindo Man, is one of profound, ritualistic intent. Why were these individuals chosen? Were they executed? Criminals, deemed unworthy and offered as a grim tribute. Were they victims of tribal warfare, captured enemies, sacrificed to assert dominance? Or, most chillingly, were they human sacrifices offered willingly or unwillingly to unseen deities? Of the bog, to ensure good harvests, to appease angry gods during times of famine or disease, or to ward off ill fortune. The presence of certain ritualistic elements, the specific means of death, the last meals, the meticulous placement of bodies in the bog, often with eyes closed, as if in slumber or with a serene expression, points overwhelmingly towards a sacred, albeit horrifying, practice, a deliberate vanishing of a life in service of a greater, unseen power. They were not merely buried, they were deposited, consecrated, offered to the silent earth gods of the bog, their bodies acting as conduits between the human and divine realms. The unsettling climax of Toland Man's tale lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of his sacrifice and the very act of his disappearance into the bog. While some bog bodies may have been unfortunate accidents or summary executions, the sheer number of victims, the consistent patterns of violent, ritualistic deaths, and their careful, deliberate placement in the bogs point overwhelmingly towards a sacred, albeit terrifying, tradition. The exact deities, the specific reasons for each individual sacrifice, and the precise rituals performed remain elusive, forever shrouded in the dark, acidic waters that preserved them. They disappeared from their society not as random deaths, but as ritualized offerings, their lives surrendered to the earth itself. These silent figures, emerging from the peat as if awakened from a long nightmare, challenge our understanding of ancient beliefs and the brutal realities of human sacrifice. They are not victims to be mourned in the conventional sense, but echoes of a time when the boundary between life and death was blurred, and the natural world demanded a terrifying tribute, a profound vanishing of a living soul into the earth's embrace. And so, as the phantom whispers of Toland Man's enigmatic smile fade into the silence, and the image of his preserved face lingers in the mind, we are left with the haunting echo of his desperate, ritualistic sacrifice. His preservation is a stark reminder that the earth itself can hold profound, chilling secrets, and that ancient beliefs could demand the ultimate, most horrifying price. In the long-forgotten nights of the Dark Ages, did the spirits of those offered to the bog truly linger in the mist, their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the silent earth demanded its brutal, sacred tribute, swallowing lives whole to ensure its bounty. The profound stillness of the bogs speaks volumes, a testament to unyielding faith and terrifying violence, and a chilling enigma of a purposeful disappearance. Chapter 23. The Disappearance of the Maya. Collapse and the jungle's embrace revisited for disappearance did a magnificent civilization, a beacon of intellectual prowess and artistic glory, truly melt into the dense emerald embrace of the jungle. Its vibrant cities silenced and its people vanished by unseen forces. Or does its profound decline whisper a chilling warning of a society consumed by its own hubris, a terrifying enigma swallowed by the relentless advance of nature? Our journey now takes us to the sweltering, verdant heart of Mesoamerica, to the realm of the classic Maya, flourishing from roughly 250 CE to 900 CE. They built colossal cities, developed a complex writing system, advanced mathematics, and sophisticated astronomy. Yet, after centuries of unparalleled achievement, they mysteriously declined. Their great urban centers abandoned, their intricate culture seemingly swallowed by the encroaching jungle, their very existence a profound, baffling disappearance. Our story begins in the lush lowlands of what is now southern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, and parts of Honduras and El Salvador. Here, the Maya constructed awe-inspiring cities like Tikal, Palenque, and Copan, with towering pyramids, elaborate palaces, and intricate stelae commemorating the reigns of their kings. They developed a unique hieroglyphic script, precise calendars, of astonishing accuracy, and a profound understanding of the cosmos, charting the movements of celestial bodies with incredible precision. Their art flourished, their trade networks thrived, and their population swelled, sustaining a complex social hierarchy that supported both peasant farmers and a priestly elite. Imagine the vibrant life of a classic Maya city at its zenith, the constant chatter of markets echoing through stone plazas, The rhythmic thud of artisans at work, the murmur of rituals in grand plazas, the solemn processions of priests and nobles ascending towering pyramids, all under the watchful gaze of their astronomical observatories. For centuries, this civilization flourished, its intellect pushing the boundaries of human knowledge, its people shaping the very landscape. Then, sometime in the 9th century CE, a profound silence began to descend. City after city was abandoned. Construction of monuments ceased abruptly. The carving of stelae, which recorded their kings and their history, inexplicably stopped. The intricate infrastructure, once meticulously maintained, slowly crumbled under the relentless assault of the jungle. The people, the bustling population, that once animated these stone giants, simply vanished. The unsettling climax of the Maya collapse lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of its cause. What compelled this magnificent civilization to abandon its heartland and vanish from the historical record, not with a bang, but with a prolonged, agonizing whimper? This was not a violent conquest by an external enemy. There is no widespread evidence of devastating invasion or prolonged empire-destroying wars that could account for such a widespread and synchronized decline across the entire Maya lowlands. It was a more insidious internal disintegration, a gradual disappearance of their complex social fabric. Multiple theories, often intertwined and debated, attempt to explain this profound enigma. One leading theory points to catastrophic environmental degradation. The vast population growth, supported by intensive agriculture, may have led to unsustainable practices, including extensive deforestation for timber, fuel, and the plaster used in construction. This, in turn, caused severe soil erosion, a decline in agricultural productivity, and exacerbated the effects of prolonged severe droughts, which paleoclimatic data now confirm for the region during this period. The very sophisticated water management systems they built, in a cruel twist of fate, may have exacerbated the problem by concentrating populations in areas that became unsustainable during prolonged dry spells. Chapter 23. The Disappearance of the Maya Collapse and the Jungle's Embrace. Revisited for Disappearance, did a magnificent civilization, a beacon of intellectual prowess and artistic glory, truly melt into the dense emerald embrace of the jungle? Its vibrant cities silenced and its people vanished by unseen forces? Or does its profound decline whisper a chilling warning of a society consumed by its own hubris, a terrifying enigma swallowed by the relentless advance of nature? Our journey now takes us to the sweltering, verdant heart of Mesoamerica, to the realm of the classic Maya, flourishing from roughly 250 CE to 900 CE. They built colossal cities, developed a complex writing system, advanced mathematics, and sophisticated astronomy. Yet, after centuries of unparalleled achievement, they mysteriously declined. Their great urban centers abandoned, their intricate culture seemingly swallowed by the encroaching jungle, their very existence a profound, baffling disappearance. Our story begins in the lush lowlands of what is now southern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, and parts of Honduras and El Salvador. Here, the Maya constructed awe-inspiring cities like Tikal, Palenque, and Copan, with towering pyramids, elaborate palaces, and intricate stelae commemorating the reigns of their kings. They developed a unique hieroglyphic script, precise calendars, of astonishing accuracy, and a profound understanding of the cosmos, charting the movements of celestial bodies with incredible precision. Their art flourished, their trade networks thrived, and their population swelled, sustaining a complex social hierarchy that supported both peasant farmers and a priestly elite. Imagine the vibrant life of a classic Maya city at its zenith. The constant chatter of markets echoing through stone plazas, the rhythmic thud of artisans at work, the murmur of rituals in grand plazas, the solemn processions of priests and nobles ascending towering pyramids, all under the watchful gaze of their astronomical observatories. For centuries, this civilization flourished, its intellect pushing the boundaries of human knowledge, its people shaping the very landscape. Then, sometime in the 9th century CE, a profound silence began to descend. City after city was abandoned. Construction of monuments ceased abruptly. The carving of stelae, which recorded their kings and their history, inexplicably stopped. The intricate infrastructure, once meticulously maintained, slowly crumbled under the relentless assault of the jungle. The people, the bustling population, that once animated these stone giants, simply vanished. The unsettling climax of the Maya collapse lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of its cause. What compelled this magnificent civilization to abandon its heartland and vanish from the historical record, not with a bang, but with a prolonged, agonizing whimper? This was not a violent conquest by an external enemy. There is no widespread evidence of devastating invasion or prolonged empire-destroying wars that could account for such a widespread and synchronized decline across the entire Maya lowlands. It was a more insidious, internal disintegration, a gradual disappearance of their complex social fabric. Multiple theories, often intertwined and debated, attempt to explain this profound enigma. One leading theory points to catastrophic environmental degradation. The vast population growth, supported by intensive agriculture, may have led to unsustainable practices, including extensive deforestation for timber, fuel, and the plaster used in construction. This, in turn, caused severe soil erosion, a decline in agricultural productivity, and exacerbated the effects of prolonged, severe droughts, which paleoclimatic data now confirm for the region during this period. The very sophisticated water management systems they built, in a cruel twist of fate, may have exacerbated the problem by concentrating populations in areas that became unsustainable during prolonged dry spells. But was it solely ecological? Could other forces have been at play? Was it prolonged, escalating warfare between competing city-states, depleting vital resources, disrupting essential trade routes, and leading to widespread famine and instability? Evidence of increased fortifications and endemic conflict appears in the later periods. Could it have been internal social unrest, a revolt by the common people against an elite that failed to provide sustenance and spiritual guidance during times of profound crisis? Or perhaps a devastating wave of epidemics that swept through a weakened, stressed population, though direct evidence for specific diseases is hard to pinpoint? The complex interplay of these factors, rather than a single, simple cause, likely led to their demise, their gradual disappearance from the great cities. The true reason for their collapse remains elusive, a complex interplay of environmental pressures and human choices. The magnificent ruins of their cities stand today, silent and empty, their intricate carvings gazing out at a changed world, a haunting warning of a civilization whose lifeblood slowly dried up, its people scattering into the surrounding landscape, or vanishing into anonymous village life. And so, as the phantom whispers of the classic Maya cities fade into the humid air, and the image of their abandoned pyramids lingers in the mind, we are left with the haunting echo of their vanished glory. Their disappearance is a stark reminder that even the most innovative and intellectually advanced civilizations can vanish without a trace. their secrets swallowed by the relentless advance of the natural world and the slow unraveling of human societies. In the long-forgotten nights of the dark ages of the Americas, did the spirits of the Maya truly linger in the shadows of their abandoned pyramids, their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very jungle could reclaim its human creations, leaving only silent, stony witnesses to a profound ecological and societal tragedy. The profound silence of their ruins speaks volumes, a testament to both grandeur and enigmatic collapse. Our story begins in the 17th century, the golden age of sail, when magnificent ships plied the dangerous trade routes between Europe and the East Indies. The legend typically centers around a Dutch captain, sometimes named Hendrik van der Decken or Bernard Fock, a figure consumed by hubris or a desperate pact with the devil. He swore to round the perilous Cape of Good Hope during a ferocious storm, defying divine will, even if it took him until doomsday, cursing his crew and his vessel. His blasphemous oath, or perhaps his reckless ambition and cruelty, condemned him and his ship to an eternal voyage, unable to make port, forever sailing the treacherous waters around the Cape, a spectral warning to all who dared to challenge. The sea. Imagine the scene: a lone sailing ship, battling a violent tempest off the infamous Cape of Good Hope, a notorious graveyard for vessels. The waves tower like mountains, crashing over the decks. The wind howls like a banshee, tearing at the rigging. The captain, defiant against the very forces of nature, pushes his ship and crew to their breaking limits, uttering a desperate, unholy vow. Then, as if in response to this ultimate challenge, a supernatural force descends, condemning the ship to its endless, ghostly fate, turning its living crew into phantom echoes. The chilling atmosphere around the sighting of the Flying Dutchman is one of profound dread. Sailors report seeing a ghostly ship, often glowing with a strange, spectral light, sailing against the wind with sails fully set, or sometimes appearing inexplicably out of nowhere in the heart of a storm, only to vanish again into the mist. The sighting of the Dutchman is almost universally regarded as an ill omen, a harbinger of doom, storm, or shipwreck for the unfortunate vessel that crosses its path, often preceding unexplained disappearances of other ships or crew members. Throughout the 18th, 19th, and even 20th centuries, countless reliable witnesses, from merchant captains to Royal Navy officers, claimed to have seen the phantom ship, lending an unsettling credibility to the legend, making it more than mere sailors' superstition. The unsettling climax of the Flying Dutchman's tale lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of its true nature. Is it merely a product of folklore, a powerful personification of the dangers of the sea, a psychological manifestation of sailors' deepest fears of being lost and never returning? Or is there a scientific explanation for these eerie sightings? Perhaps complex optical illusions like the Fata Morgana, a rare form of mirage that makes distant objects appear distorted, inverted, or floating above the horizon? Or could it be a rare atmospheric phenomenon, a trick of light and cloud that creates the illusion of a ghostly ship, a fleeting vision that seems to vanish as quickly as it appears? The consistent accounts across centuries, however, hint at something more profound than simple mirages, a shared, haunting experience. The enigma remains unsolved, a spectral ship forever sailing the imagination, a chilling symbol of a sailor's desperate pact with fate and the unforgiving nature of the ocean, a profound disappearance that manifests as a ghostly presence. The legend speaks to a deep human fear of being lost forever, condemned to wander without rest, never making port, a chilling testament to the enduring power of maritime lore. And so, as the phantom creak of the Flying Dutchman's masts fades into the endless silence of the sea, and the image of its spectral sails lingers in the mind, we are left with the haunting echo of its eternal voyage. Its existence is a stark reminder that some enigmas defy easy explanation, that the vastness of the ocean can breed legends as profound and terrifying as the waves themselves. In the long-forgotten nights, did the whispers of lost sailors truly tell of a cursed ship, its fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very sea held secrets of eternal damnation and ghostly wanderings, swallowing lives without a trace, only to manifest their absence as an enduring, terrifying presence. The profound mystery of its appearance speaks volumes, a testament to superstition and a chilling enigma of the deep, a never-ending disappearance. Chapter 26. The Disappearance of the Roanoke Stone and the Vanishing. Clues revisited for disappearance. Did a desperate message from a lost colony, a silent plea for help from a vanishing people, truly exist, etched into stone and brought forth from the earth? Or was it a cruel deception, a haunting enigma born from the desperation of a grave robber, and the shadows of a profound historical mystery, its own truth destined to vanish? Our journey now takes us back to the untamed, sun-drenched shores of what would become North Carolina, but this time our focus narrows to a specific controversial artifact, the Roanoke Stone, a stone tablet allegedly found in 1937, purporting to be a message from Eleanor Dare, the mother of Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the Lost Colony of Roanoke. This wasn't merely a historical find. It was a profound enigma, promising to unlock one of America's oldest mysteries, only to vanish itself into a cloud of doubt and suspicion, its own credibility dissolving into the mists of fabrication. Our story begins in the late 1930s, nearly 350 years after the enigmatic disappearance of the Roanoke colony, an absence that had haunted American history for centuries. In September 1937, a stone tablet, approximately 20 pounds in weight, was allegedly discovered near the Chowan River in North Carolina by a tourist named L.E. Hammond, who claimed he stumbled upon it while fishing. The carving on the stone, in seemingly archaic English, claimed to be from Eleanor Dare, detailing the desperate struggles of the lost colonists, including attacks by Native Americans and the tragic deaths of many, including her infant daughter, Virginia Dare. It described their flight inland from the coast, pleading for Governor John White to return and find them. This was, seemingly, the long-awaited answer to the mystery of Roanoke. A voice from the profound silence. Imagine the initial excitement and the fervent hope among historians, archaeologists, and the public. Finally, a tangible clue, a direct, the desperate voice from the past, breaking the centuries of silence surrounding the lost colony. The stone was hailed as a monumental discovery, a direct link to the vanished settlers. It spoke of massacre, of survival, of a tragic flight into the wilderness, seemingly confirming some theories and sparking new ones about their final destination. The story rapidly gained national attention, fueling immense public fascination. More stones, seemingly from the same series, began to surface over the next few years, also reportedly found in the region by various individuals, forming a chilling, extended narrative of the colonists' desperate inland journey and their eventual tragic demise. The chilling atmosphere surrounding the Roanoke stones soon shifted, dramatically transforming from excitement to profound suspicion, as more and more stones appeared, some containing increasingly fantastic and elaborate details, others with peculiar spelling errors or inconsistent linguistic patterns that seemed almost too convenient. Scholars and journalists began to question their authenticity. The unsettling climax of the Roanoke stone's tale lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of its true nature. Was it a genuine artifact, a rare and miraculous survival of a desperate message from the lost colonists, truly illuminating their vanishing? Or was it a deliberate, masterful hoax perpetrated by opportunistic individuals seeking fame, fortune, or simply notoriety, preying on the enduring fascination with the Roanoke mystery? Detailed linguistic and historical analyses soon pointed overwhelmingly towards forgery. The archaic spelling and grammar, initially seen as authentic, were later deemed inconsistent with actual 16th century English usage. The sheer volume of stones appearing so quickly, all following a similar narrative, and their increasingly elaborate stories also raised significant red flags for suspicious scholars. The most damning evidence came when investigations revealed that Ellie Hammond, the initial discoverer, and others involved in finding subsequent stones, had a history of involvement with dubious schemes and were likely engaged in their fabrication. The original Eleanor Dare stone itself became inextricably linked to this larger pattern of deception, its credibility vanishing into the shadows of doubt. Despite the strong evidence for forgery, the initial Roanoke stone itself, and the idea of such a message, continues to hold a strange, haunting power. For a brief time, it offered a tantalizing, almost too perfect, answer to one of America's oldest mysteries, only for that answer to vanish back into the shadows of suspicion, its own truth becoming another layer of the enigma. The mystery of the stone became as profound and unsolved as the mystery of the colony itself, a vanishing clue to a vanishing people. And so, as the phantom whispers of the Roanoke stone's alleged message fade into the silence, and the image of its inscribed surface dissolves into a question mark, we are left with a haunting echo of a lost clue. Its disappearance into the realm of suspected hoaxes is a stark reminder that even the most tantalizing answers can be born of deception, and that the past can guard its secrets with a relentless silence, sometimes even by spawning false clues. In the long-forgotten nights, did the desperate colonists truly leave a message carved in stone, only for it to be buried by time? Or was the very concept of its revelation a chilling lullaby from a time when truth and fabrication intertwined, creating an insoluble enigma from the shadows of a tragic disappearance, a profound mystery that still refuses to yield its ultimate truth? The profound silence of its authenticity speaks volumes, a testament to a riddle that remains stubbornly unsolved. Its own existence, a disappearance. Chapter 27. The Mystery of the Sanksingdwi. Culture and the Alien Visages Revisited for Disappearance. Did an ancient, secluded civilization, a sudden bloom of unique artistry, truly emerge from an unknown past, guided by a forgotten wisdom, only to abruptly vanish into the earth, leaving behind haunting, enigmatic visages that whisper of an extraterrestrial presence or a profound, unexplained departure, an enigma swallowed by the very dust of oblivion? Our journey now takes us to the vast, fertile plains of Sichuan, China, a realm seemingly far removed from the traditional cradles of Chinese civilization. Here, in 1986, an astonishing archaeological discovery shattered conventional understanding of ancient Chinese history. The unearthing of two sacrificial pits filled with thousands of artifacts from the Sangsindwi culture, revealing a civilization unlike any seen before or since in China, leaving behind colossal, alien-like bronze masks and figures that continue to baffle and mystify, and whose inexplicable disappearance remains a profound enigma. Our story begins around 2000 to 1200 BCE, during China's Bronze Age. While the focus of archaeological and historical study had long been on the Yellow River Valley, the supposed undisputed birthplace of Chinese civilization, the Sangsindwi site near Guanghan revealed a distinct, highly advanced culture that developed independently. It was a civilization with unique religious practices, incredibly sophisticated bronze casting techniques, and a peculiar artistic style that bore little to no resemblance to the familiar Shang or Zhou dynasties that dominated other parts of China during the same period. Its very existence and its unique cultural fingerprint was a profound surprise. Imagine the hushed awe, mingled with profound bewilderment, as archaeologists carefully uncovered the contents of the sacrificial pits. Thousands of objects emerged from the earth, pristine despite millennia of burial, intricate bronze vessels of unique designs unlike any other Chinese bronzes, elegant jade ceremonial objects, vast quantities of elephant tusks indicating a powerful trade network or ecological abundance. But nothing prepared them for the true enigma. A series of monumental bronze masks and figures, some towering over 8 feet tall, with strikingly non-human, almost otherworldly features. They possessed exaggerated almond-shaped eyes that seemed to gaze into another dimension, immense, elongated ears, and prominent, often angular, noses. Some of these faces were even covered in shimmering gold foil, adding to their surreal grandeur and sense of the profound. These faces were not simply foreign to known Chinese art. They were alien, challenging all preconceived notions of ancient Chinese aesthetics, cosmology, and even contact. The chilling atmosphere around these discoveries was one of profound disorientation and unanswered questions. Who were these people? What was the meaning of these bizarre, grotesque visages? Were they depictions of ancient deities, powerful shamans, captured in ritualistic trance, or perhaps even fantastical beings from another realm, or even a literal record of visitors from beyond the stars, whose appearances were faithfully rendered in bronze? The fact that these artifacts were deliberately broken and meticulously buried in pits, rather than interred in conventional tombs, suggested a profound ritualistic act, perhaps to consecrate, or to cleanse, or to prepare for a profound, unknown transition, or even to hide them from something, sealing them away from the world. The unsettling climax of the Sangsindwi culture's tale lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of its origins and its sudden, inexplicable disappearance. Where did this unique culture come from? It appeared fully formed, a sudden bloom of sophistication with no clear evolutionary predecessors in the immediate region. And, just as mysteriously, around 1200 BCE, it abruptly vanished. Its magnificent sites were abandoned, its distinctive, artistic style disappeared entirely from the archaeological record, its unique bronze tradition ceased. There is no widespread evidence of devastating invasion or conquest that could explain its sudden cessation. It was simply gone. What truly happened to the Sangsindwi people? Was it a massive earthquake, perhaps diverting the river that sustained them and forcing a desperate, unrecorded migration away from their heartland? Was it a deliberate relocation or a gradual absorption into other, less distinct cultures, their unique identity dissolving over time as they blended into other groups, losing their distinctive cultural markers? Or do the strange, alien-like visages of their bronze masks whisper of a more profound, unsettling truth, connection to forces or beings beyond earthly comprehension, a guiding presence that arrived, inspired a burst of genius, and then vanished, leaving behind only these enigmatic effigies and a profound silence? The undeciphered script found at the site, if ever translated, might hold the key to this profound mystery, speaking of their beliefs, their history, and their ultimate fate, forever lost to the sands of time. And so, as the phantom whispers of the Sangsingdui culture fade into the silence, and the image of their colossal alien faces lingers in the mind, we are left with the haunting echo of its vanished presence. Their disappearance is a stark reminder that history holds profound, unsettling secrets, that cultures can emerge and vanish in ways that defy our current understanding, leaving behind riddles etched in bronze. In the long, forgotten nights of the dark ages of China, that the spirits of the Sangsingdui truly commune with otherworldly beings, their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very faces of their gods were a terrifying, silent question from beyond the stars, a profound absence that challenges the very foundations of ancient history. The profound silence of their origins speaks volumes, a testament to a riddle that time refuses to solve, a disappearance that haunts the very core of our understanding of ancient China. Chapter 28, The Lost City of Atlantis and the Whispers of the Deep revisited for disappearance. Did a magnificent, technologically advanced civilization, a shimmering jewel of human ingenuity, truly sink beneath the crushing waves, swallowed whole by the wrath of the sea, its very existence dissolving into the abyssal void? Or is its haunting legend a chilling enigma, born from the philosophical dreams of a wise man and the profound human fear of catastrophic loss, forever lost to the whispers of the deep? Our journey now takes us to the vast, unfathomable depths of the ocean, to a realm where sunlight never truly reaches and secrets are guarded by the relentless pressure of the abyss. Here, for millennia, whispers have persisted of Atlantis, a legendary island civilization, a utopian society of immense power and knowledge, that mysteriously vanished beneath the waves in a single, catastrophic day and night, leaving behind only the haunting echo of its magnificent absence. Our story begins not in antiquity, but in the profound philosophical writings of the Greek philosopher Plato, around 360 BCE, in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias. Plato describes Atlantis in vivid, captivating detail, a powerful and advanced island nation situated beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the Strait of Gibraltar, boasting magnificent architecture, sophisticated engineering, and a highly organized, prosperous society. Its inhabitants, originally virtuous and God-fearing, gradually succumbed to hubris and greed, becoming increasingly arrogant and power-hungry, attempting to conquer the world and enslave other nations. As a divine punishment for their moral corruption and insatiable ambition, the gods, led by Zeus, cast their wrath upon Atlantis, causing it to be consumed by devastating earthquakes and immense floods. Sinking beneath the ocean in a single, terrible day and night, imagine the dazzling splendor of Atlantis at its zenith, gleaming temples of orichalcum, a mythical, shining metal, vast, circular harbors teeming with advanced ships, intricate canals and towering structures, all bathed in the golden light of an ancient sun. A population living in harmonious abundance, their technology seemingly far beyond their time, enjoying a paradise of their own making. Then, the sudden, cataclysmic shift, the very earth trembling violently, splitting apart, the sea rising in colossal, tsunami-like waves, the island itself tearing asunder and plummeting into the abyssal depths, taking with it all its glory, its people, and its wondrous creations. The chilling atmosphere of its demise is one of profound, instantaneous destruction, a terrifying divine judgment, a complete and utter disappearance. The unsettling climax of Atlantis' tale lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of its existence and its precise location. Was Plato's account a literal historical record, a memory of a truly lost civilization passed down through oral traditions from ancient Egyptian priests as he claimed? Or was it primarily a philosophical allegory, a cautionary tale meticulously crafted by Plato to illustrate his theories on ideal societies, the dangers of unchecked power, and the inevitable consequences of moral decay, dressed in the guise of history? For centuries, adventurers, archaeologists, mystics, and even scientists have tirelessly searched for Atlantis, combing the ocean floor, examining ancient maps, interpreting seismic data, and exploring remote islands and sunken land masses, convinced that somewhere its magnificent ruins lie hidden beneath the waves, waiting to be rediscovered. Countless locations have been proposed, each with its own compelling, yet ultimately unproven, arguments, from the volcanic island of Thera Santorini in the Mediterranean, whose Bronze Age eruption led to a devastating tsunami, to the Caribbean, the Atlantic Ocean itself, the coasts of Africa, and even the icy continent of Antarctica. Each theory is fueled by tantalizing clues and compelling circumstantial evidence, but none has yielded definitive, irrefutable, widespread proof of a sunken continent or a lost, highly advanced civilization matching Plato's precise descriptions. The very lack of concrete, physical evidence, combined with the enduring, almost universal persistence of the legend, makes it a profound and haunting enigma, a disappearance that continues to resonate through time. The enduring power of the Atlantis. Myth speaks to a deep human longing for lost perfection, a profound fascination with advanced ancient cultures that perhaps understood secrets we have forgotten, and a primal fear of catastrophic destruction that can wipe away entire worlds in an instant. It is a symbol of knowledge lost, of a golden age, irrevocably gone, a testament to how profoundly a disappearance can capture the human imagination. And so, as the phantom whispers of Atlantis' submerged cities fade into the silent churning depths of the ocean, and the image of its magnificent sunken splendor lingers in the mind, we are left with the haunting echo of its lost glory. Its disappearance is a stark reminder that the sea can swallow secrets beyond human comprehension, that entire worlds can vanish without a trace, becoming a haunting symbol of vanished utopias and profound natural wrath. In the long-forgotten nights of the Dark Ages, did the whispers of ancient mariners truly tell of a sunken city, its fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very ocean held secrets of lost empires and divine judgment, a never-ending disappearance that continues to haunt our dreams? The profound silence of the deep speaks volumes, a testament to legend and a chilling enigma of oblivion. Chapter 29. The Nazca Lines and the skyward messages revisited for disappearance. Did an ancient people truly etch colossal, enigmatic messages into the very face of the earth, designs so vast and precise they could only be fully appreciated by unseen eyes in the heavens? Or are there haunting, silent geoglyphs, a chilling enigma, a forgotten ritual from a lost civilization, forever gazing skyward without explanation, their creators having vanished into the dust. Our journey now takes us to the arid, desolate plains of southern Peru, to a stark, otherworldly landscape etched with profound mystery. Here, stretching across hundreds of square miles of the Nazca Desert, are the Nazca lines, colossal geoglyphs carved into the earth, depicting animals, geometric shapes, and human-like figures, so immense they can only be fully appreciated from high above. This isn't merely ancient art. It is an enduring enigma, a baffling riddle from a vanished people, their existence a testament to a profound, mysterious disappearance. Our story begins around 500 BCE to 500 CE, during the flourishing of the Nazca culture. Living in one of the driest regions on Earth, a barren coastal plain, the Nazca people developed sophisticated irrigation systems and a remarkable resilience to sustain their agriculture. But it was their artistic output, carved into the desert floor on a scale previously unimagined, that truly set them apart. They created these enormous designs by meticulously removing the reddish-brown, iron oxide-coated pebbles from the desert surface, exposing the lighter, yellowish-gray clay underneath. This process, known as subtractive art, meant the designs were shallow, yet enduring due to the extreme aridity and lack of wind. Imagine the meticulous precision required to create such massive designs, some stretching for hundreds of feet, perfectly straight lines running for miles across undulating terrain, intricate animal figures rendered with uncanny accuracy. How did they achieve such geometric perfection and colossal scale without the ability to view their work from above? Were they guided by simple string and stakes, utilizing complex surveying techniques and observation points from nearby hills? Or were they perhaps aided by some form of lost wisdom, or even, as some more outlandish theories suggest, by a perspective granted by otherworldly visitors? The figures are diverse and captivating, forming a vast, silent menagerie etched into the landscape. A hummingbird with an impossibly long beak, a monkey with an intricately coiled tail, a majestic spider, a flowing lizard, a graceful pelican, a human-like figure dubbed the astronaut, and vast, perplexing geometric shapes like spirals, trapezoids, and triangles. The chilling atmosphere surrounding the Nazca lines is one of profound, silent mystery. Why were they created? What was their profound purpose? And for whom were they intended, if only visible from high above? The unsettling climax of the Nazca line's tale lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of their meaning and the eventual disappearance of their creators. Were they astronomical observatories designed to track celestial movements related to agricultural cycles or sacred dates? A giant calendar etched into the land? Were they ritual pathways, perhaps for ceremonial processions during sacred festivals, the paths themselves imbued with religious significance, leading pilgrims to unseen spiritual destinations? Were they offerings to powerful deities, desperate pleas for rain in a parched land, or symbolic maps of underground water sources, vital for their survival in such an arid environment? Perhaps most famously, the more outlandish theories suggest they were created as signals or landing strips for extraterrestrial visitors, a silent, ancient message to alien beings, guiding them to this remote corner of the earth. While these theories lack scientific evidence, they underscore the profound human need to find a grand, comprehensive explanation for something so utterly baffling. The Nazca culture itself eventually declined and vanished, its people dispersing or simply fading away around 500 CE, leaving behind only these enigmatic earth scenes, their meaning forever lost to the sands of time, their purpose unfulfilled, their message unheard. the preservation of the lines, despite millennia of wind and rare torrential rains, is a testament to the extreme aridity and stable climatic conditions of the Nazca Desert. They remain silent and vast, gazing skyward, their purpose unfulfilled, their message unheard, a profound and deliberate disappearance of meaning. And so, as the phantom whispers of the Nazca lines fade into the vast, silent plains, and the image of their colossal designs lingers in the mind's eye, we are left with the haunting echo of their skyward messages. Their existence is a stark reminder that some enigmas defy easy explanation, that ancient cultures can leave behind riddles of such scale and complexity that they seem to speak of profound lost knowledge or a deliberate communication to an unseen audience in the long-forgotten night of the dark ages of the Americas. Did the Nazca people truly etch colossal designs for unseen eyes in the heavens? Their fate forever an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very earth became a canvas for an unread message, its creators having vanished into the profound silence. The profound silence of their colossal art speaks volumes, a testament to devotion and a chilling enigma of the unknown. Chapter 30. The Fall of the Western Roman Empire and the Silent Whisper of Collapse. Revisited for Disappearance, did a colossal empire, the very bedrock of Western civilization and a beacon of order, truly crumble under the relentless weight of external invasions, its grandeur dissolving into chaos? Or did its demise whisper a more chilling tale of internal rot, a profound enigma of slow, agonizing self-destruction and a gradual, terrifying disappearance of its former might? Our journey now takes us to the twilight years of the ancient world, to the grand, yet increasingly fragile, realm of the Western Roman Empire. This wasn't a sudden, cataclysmic event, but a protracted, complex decline that spanned centuries, ultimately culminating in the official, symbolic fall in 476 CE. Yet, the true causes of this monumental collapse, and how it felt to live through such a profound, gradual disappearance of an entire world order, remain a haunting enigma. Our story begins in the 3rd century CE, when the vast Roman Empire, stretched thin by its own immense expansion, began to show profound cracks. Decades of internal strife, rampant economic instability, political turmoil, assassinations of emperors, and relentless barbarian incursions along its vast frontiers created a pervasive sense of growing unease and dread among its citizens. The empire was officially divided into East Byzantine Empire and West, with the western half, centered in Rome, facing the brunt of the external pressures and the internal decay. Imagine the atmosphere in a Roman city in the late 4th or 5th century. The once bustling forums, vibrant with commerce and political debate, now quieter, more desolate. The grand aqueducts perhaps falling into disrepair, their arches crumbling, signifying a loss of maintenance. The distant rumble of barbarian hooves, a constant terrifying threat on the horizons of their consciousness. The citizens, once proud, inheritors of Roman law, order, and unparalleled infrastructure, now faced cripplingly high taxes, declining public services, rampant corruption, and the terrifying prospect of barbarian sackings that could turn their world to ash. Rome itself, the eternal city, was famously sacked by the Visigoths in 410 CE, and again by the Vandals in 455 CE, shattering the myth of its invincibility and sending shockwaves of despair throughout the empire. The traditional narrative, often simplified, points to the relentless barbarian invasions, the Goths, Vandals, Huns, and Franks, the primary external cause of Rome's collapse. Indeed, these invasions were devastating and relentless, carving out new, independent kingdoms from formerly Roman territory. The final act, often cited as the official fall, was the deposition of the last Western Roman emperor, Romulus Augustus, by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer in 476 CE. But this was merely a symbolic end, a final, almost quiet sigh of an empire that had been dying a long, slow death. The true enigma lies deeper. The unsettling climax of the Western Roman Empire's fall lies in the persistent, tormenting ambiguity of its true, underlying causes and the sense of a grand, profound disappearance. Was it purely external pressure, an unstoppable tide of barbarians? Or were the seeds of destruction sown from within, a more insidious, silent decay, a gradual hollowing out of its core? Multiple theories, each adding another layer to the enigma, attempt to explain this monumental collapse: economic collapse, hyperinflation, massive trade disruptions, a dwindling tax base due to depopulation and barbarian control of territories, and the overwhelming cost of maintaining a vast military crippled the state's ability to pay its army, repair infrastructure, or even administer its own territories. Political instability, a rapid succession of weak and often short-lived emperors, rampant corruption, bitter internal power struggles, and the increasing, often decisive, influence of the military over civilian rule eroded central authority and made effective governance impossible. Social decay, declining birth rates, partially due to plague, widespread disease, a widening and entrenched gap between rich and poor, and a perceived loss of civic virtue and traditional Roman identity led to a fragmented, disillusioned society that lacked the cohesion to resist. Environmental factors, climate change, including a period of cooling temperatures that impacted agricultural yields, may have exacerbated economic woes and put additional pressure on borders, as barbarian tribes sought more hospitable lands. Over-militarization, the enormous, ever-increasing cost of maintaining a vast army diverted resources from other vital areas, while the increasing reliance on barbarian mercenaries eroded the loyalty and Roman identity of the legions, turning them into self-serving entities. The terrifying truth is that there was no single, decisive blow, no single cataclysmic event that marked the end. It was a slow, agonizing unraveling, a gradual loss of control, a creeping decline that felt to those living through it like the slow, terrifying end of the world, a profound societal twilight that dissolved into the Dark Ages. The grandeur of Rome did not vanish overnight. It slowly crumbled piece by piece into the profound silence of ruin, its institutions, its power, and its very essence gradually disappearing. And so, as the phantom whispers of the Roman Empire's collapse fade into the silence, and the image of its crumbling arches lingers in the mind, we are left with the haunting echo of its gradual demise. Its fall is a stark reminder that even the mightiest empires are fragile, susceptible not just to external threats, but to the insidious rot, from within, to the slow, terrifying disappearance of their own vitality. In the long-forgotten nights of the Dark Ages, did the last Romans truly understand the myriad forces that were consuming their world? Or were they living through an unsolved enigma, a chilling lullaby from a time when the very foundations of civilization crumbled, its light gradually vanishing, leaving only the profound silence of ruin? The vast emptiness where an empire once stood speaks volumes, a testament to inevitable change and a chilling enigma of historical entropy.